Hiya! Welcome! Hello everyone! Welcome! Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I just skip afternoon. Hiya! Welcome! How is everyone doing? Ayo! Hello Rumi! Hello Raven! Hello Woody! Hello Hoxton! Hello Raven! Oh wait. Hello Roxy! Hello Harumi! I keep saying, repeating it. Hello Jose! Hello Dude! Hello Never! Ayo! Hello Sim! You're late? We just started like 7 minutes. Good time zone. Ayo! Welcome! Today we are going to learn I think we will have to refresh a bit again of the Warhammer 40k lore. Yes. We're gonna watch the Bricky ones. Yeah, because you know, Bricky ones are actually more entertaining compared with some of them. Not that I'm saying that most of them are not entertaining. It's just that a lot of them are just reading. It is a bit hard to try to find some of them they are like fun to watch, you know, not like class not like those classroom kind of textbooks kind of lore, you know. Hello Meron! Ayo Say! Ayo, how you doing? Welcome. It's Say! Holy! How you doing, Say? Welcome. Let's go check out Say. She's so lovely. She so loves me. She's one of my streamer friends. Let's go check her out. Okay. Hello, bro. Ayo. Okay, how many of you guys know about Warhammer? Shout out to Say. Yeah, if only we can do shout out on YouTube. But we can only only do a little. We can do that on Twitch. Man, YouTube, when can we do like a shout out thing for other streamers? When can we do that? Oh man, I haven't changed the title for this thing. We'll see. Okay, so I found out. Wait a second, let me change this thing. Warhammer 40k's lore video. I think so. We are going to like watch like about three videos. You know how long is the Warhammer videos? They are long. They are long. So I have only know about like the beginning of it, like the Emperor, and then like how all this started before 40k. I know about the warp. Was it the warp? Is that how you called it? I forgot the thing. The chaos thing. The chaos god thing. I know that one. Yeah, the law is like dictionary. Yeah, it is kind of like that. So yeah. So we are gonna watch this one that is like the timeline one. Which is Bricky make it. What is Warhammer 40k? Timeline of 40k lore. So this is like 30 minutes. Should be okay. Just like refresh a bit of the memories. And then I found out that he remake the explanation for the fraction one. For the Warhammer 40k fraction. He remake it. Re-explain. That's what he says. Two parts. Say! Oh my god, Say! Thank you so much for the 5 gift sub again. Say, you're crazy. You're crazy, Say. You are crazy. Hello, son. How are you? Man, I love Warhammer, especially the lore. Orcs are hilarious. Yeah, I would like to know them. And I'm always like jump around a little and yeah. So we're gonna refresh a bit and then There's like 2 more videos. That is explain the fraction again. You can watch it one. I'm crazy. You are crazy. Oh my god. Give some again. Yesterday and today. Thank you. Thank you. Too generous, guys. What should I do? What should I do? She's too generous. She's too generous. Wait. When can I know when is your when is your birthday? Say when is your birthday? No, not that I ask her the question because there's something I wanna do for you. Just wanna know. I just wanna know. Not that I wanna do something for you. Yeah. Yeah. I hope. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was March 21st. Oh. Okay. Well, we have more time. We have more time. Oh well, we have more time. Okay. Andrew, welcome. I'm not wait. I'm asking her birthday, not that I'm trying to ask which year, right? Not that I'm asking which year. Right? Collab stream. What do you want to do? Anytime. Anytime. I'm going down the cyberpunk law. Oh. Nice. That's nice. Cyberpunk is a good game. So yeah, I believe some of you guys know the lore. Maybe. You know what? I'm gonna believe that you know more than me. You know more than me. I'm gonna believe that you guys know more than me. Yeah. Rine's going to draw the most sassy and cutest thing ever. No. Kelly was born in 2050. 25 years from now. It's backward, nice. Says ancient backward. Okay. So yeah, how many of you guys know about Warhammer, or are you guys here to learn Warhammer lore? Also, later, I think the watching the lore part, I'm gonna just like do like 3 videos, since most of them are like 1 hour. They're like an hour. This one is 2 hours. We are watching movies. we are watching movie here. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Warhammer. So you know a lot of them. Do you play the miniature as well? Oh man, there's a good reason Warhammer is old, and there's so much lore. Yeah, it is true. So much lore. Hello Noi! Welcome. Warhammer video is almost always super long. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so not to waste too much time, but I want to say something. Wait, what was I gonna say? Oh shit. What was I gonna say? Oh shit, what was I? Oh yes, yeah, later. Later after this one, I'm gonna go play Uma Musume. Yeah, it will be. So today will be a little bit long stream. A little bit long stream for today. Yeah, a little bit, not too long. I try not to like watch too much of the lore, because I know I will be overwhelmed by the information that I'm gonna receive for the past 2-3 hours. And then we'll play a bit of Uma Musume, because my ghost ship is going to have her debut race. Yes, she's going to have a debut race. I just like kind of speedrunned her career yesterday. And then also one thing. Cheers. And then one more thing is that in like 2 days we are going to have another IRL stream. Kind of a sudden IRL stream, because I just realized that there's a Gundam pop-up going on this week. I was actually planning to have the IRL stream next week, but then I just found out that this week we have an event going on, like Gundam pop-up. I am going there to get some gunpla. Yeah, let's hope that they have G-Quarks one. I want the G-Quarks one. Cafe? More like a pop-up shop, not cafe. Yeah, I believe more like a shop. Need some salt on my food. Okay. IRL fans in shambles. Oh yeah, so my IRL stream will be definitely later than the regular streaming hours, since you know where my time zone is. But yeah, it will be a IRL stream in 2 days, and then I will stream on YouTube. Yeah, this time I will stream on YouTube. Last time I tried it on Twitch. This time I'm gonna try it on YouTube and see how it goes. So YouTube chat, you'll be able to join the stream. And then Twitch might have to move to YouTube. Yeah. Twitch will have to move to YouTube. And then what else I'm gonna say? So yeah, not just going to the pop-up shop, the Gundam pop-up shop. We are also going to explore a can I say tower? Yeah, and a very famous, popular, or like iconic, classic, a must-visit tower. Yeah, in my country. I'm not gonna say too much. We'll see. Okay. I try not to like talk too much about the area, like where I'm gonna go, because I don't know who is listening, and you know, it's kind of dangerous out there in the internet. So yeah, I'm gonna try to like say too much of where I'm gonna go, but yeah. Today I'm on my way. Yeah, I gotta be careful with that. I don't know who is listening. Maybe someone knows the place that I'm talking about. Yeah. A tower. I'm gonna show you guys a tower, a place. Yeah. Would you by any means buy a Brazilian Joe? Wait, what is that? What is it? Is that a joke? Wait a second, I need to know. Hello, marvelous. Yeah, people be crazy, cray. Not everyone is, but better safe than sorry. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna not gonna say where we are going first. You know when we stream. Yeah. But yeah, today. So that's what I want to say. That's what I am going to say. Oh, you're asking Jose. Okay. So yeah, that's what I want to say. A very sudden IRL stream gonna happen in 2 days. So yeah, let's see. So are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for lore, for watching the goddamn movie? The lore kind of movie. Let's test the audio first. Please don't tell people I'm listening. Harumi, he's been spying. He's been a spy this whole time. So yeah, so this is the timeline of 40k lore. Gonna have a little refresh of what the hell is going on, what the hell is 40k timeline, a little refresh. How about that? How about that? Because since last time I do it, it was like about 2 months ago. Yeah, remember.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium,
oh my god, that's loud.
The Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an
loud.
empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs. And one must know what those abs taste like.
Wait, why do I feel like I've seen this? Okay.
But for everything you buy, and I am not dumb, if you buy any of these tubs, regular caffeine-free of my sweet six-pack
okay,
flavor,
it's an ad. Okay.
Muscle Girl 32-ounce shaker completely for free. There are only a couple thousand of those shakers, so get it while supplies lasts.
Okay, are they good?
I believe we finally have this, but I told everyone, like, once you find out the flavor, you'll be like, yeah, that tracks, and damn straight does it track. Sweet six-pack.
Oh my god.
Now, code Bricky.
Oh my god. 20? Thank you, Tom! Thank you! That is crazy generous! Oh my god, thank you! Thank you for the 20! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you! Oh my god, thank you, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let me turn down a little bit. Glory to the Rine, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. You're too generous. You're too generous. Tom, thank you. Holy, it is, I think it's like first time having 20. Was it first time? Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, no. Thank you! Thank you so much! 50! 50 gifts! I don't know what to say. That is a lot! That is a lot! Thank you! Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna sit here for a while like this. Maybe thank you. Oh my god, what a giga chat came in here. Give a 70 gift sub. Stop! Stop! Another 20! Stop! Wait, what? Thank you! Wait, stop! What is going on? Stop! Thank you! Thank you for the 120 gifts of Tom. Thank you so much. And then say as well, thank you. And then do thank you. Yeah, about to cover all of the subscribers here. Thank you. Some funny sad. Oh man, thank you. Love you. Say thank you. Love you too. Thank you so much. I am drowning in the all the subs, all the membership. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh man. I was summoned by the gift sub. Hello, welcome. That's drowning. Yeah. Chat being drowned. Oh no. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, Shiki. Thank you. Oh my god. Everyone got the sub. Everyone got the sub. It's a legit elevator right now. Yeah. It did. This is like too generous for me. This is actually crazy. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Floor 20, please. We like major dodging every bullet. Wait, I don't know how long it's gonna be. Oh man, I will have to. I think I will have to mute. Yeah, I will have to mute. I'm sorry. I will actually have to mute. That's too generous. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for all the good stuff. Thank you. So let me do this. Thank you for all the support. Thank you. This is too nice. Is it done? Is it finally done? Nice. But the alert is still going. Yeah, the alert is still going. I think it's still going a little bit. Yeah, the alert is still going. So I'm just gonna mute the alert and have it the animation going on the screen. Maybe should be okay, right? Thanks. I'm at 90th floor now. But what is she going to do against the other 200? No. I don't know. I know I shouldn't say no, but yes. Thank you. Thank you. Who doesn't like money, right? Who doesn't want money? But yes, thank you for the generosity. Really, thank you. Hello, Eros. Welcome. Ayo. Yeah. So we just about to start watching Bricky's lore video, 40k lore video. This one is about the 40k timeline. Yeah, salute everyone. Thank you, dude. Thank you. You guys are too nice. You guys are too nice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Now I have the fun to make more content now. Now I have the fun to make more stuff now for you guys now. Nice. Thank you. Okay. Ready to continue? Surprise chat didn't do like we didn't break like we did on Says. Oh really? Actually broke her chat. Oh no, that's oh no. Okay. Well, we survived because you guys are strong. You guys have evolved and get stronger now. Yes. I mean, I don't care. Everyone is membership now. Everyone is what is that? Noble favor now. Everyone's noble favor. Everyone's green collar now. Waiting for more lore. You managed to make it not give the max members from gift. Max members from gift. I got a membership who did this. Some Giga chat that it's on the top. The Giga chat. Hello, Stargazer. Green is too cool now. It become common now, so you don't feel special. Is that why? It's not special anymore. Green used to be very special among the other gray. How many members do you need for custom emote? I don't know. I will have to actually check now since there's like more than 100 now. I think I've unlocked plenty of them now, by now. Yeah. I do have custom emote. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, Tom. Giga chat, such giga chat. Came in here, drop the subs, and like, sayonara. Sayonara. Damn. So cool now. Blue is the new hot. Yeah, blue. Now blue is something special now. For yeah. Thank you, dude. Thank you too. I think it's a 150 membership equals to 16 slots. Really? You need them? That's actually quite a lot. That's actually a lot for YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Are you guys ready to get back to the goddamn lore? 7 new emotes are available. Yeah, you guys get more emotes now. Wait a second. I have a lot of emotes to upload. I can upload it later. I can literally just upload it later. And then you guys can use it. Plenty of emotes to use. Nice. We'll wait a second. I want to know if the membership number reduce, would I lost the emote slots as well? That's the question. I've heard that that will happen. I will lost these slots as well. Not sure. No idea. Yeah, I'm not so sure about now because that's what I heard before, but that was very long ago, so I don't know if it's still true. Yeah. Let's hope that it's not gonna happen. I would wish you guys to use as many emotes as possible. Yeah. Yeah. You guys ready? You guys ready for the for the 40k ab lore video? Oh, so if I upload that before the slot is gone. Ah, that's nice. Okay. So you guys get to use the emotes. Nice. Okay. Ready. Oh my god. The alert is still going on. It's okay. Okay, let's continue. Thank you again. Thank you. I don't know what else I can say. All I can say is just thank you. It's actually very overwhelmed for me right now because this is like a huge support for me. Yeah, that what I've experienced right now. Also, thank you, Marvelers. Thank you for becoming a member. Oh my god. Thank you. it's not planning to letting it stop. Thank you. Thank you. Another 5. Thank you. Too generous. Thank you. Here we go again. It's not stopping. The alert is not stopping. Thank you. I mean, you can just cry on stream again. No. You wouldn't want to see me cry so uglily on stream, right? You wouldn't want that. Definitely 150 now. Oh, definitely. It's like 40, 140, 150. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. That's what I need to say. Non-stop membership, gift membership, just keep going. Oh, something happened on YouTube sound stream. I was confused. Twitch chat was like, huh? What's going on? yeah. There's a lot of generous giga chat gift. I give a huge amount of membership. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So with all of this money you guys dump on me, I can make a lot of good contents now. I can actually get like all those like gadgets, and then it's like, hell yeah, gonna put everything back to the content now. Yeah, thank you. Selamat pagi. Ayo, Faron. Sorry, Twitch only has one brain cell between us already. It's okay. I also have one brain cell, and I think that I'm sharing the brain cell with you guys too. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's get back to it. Let's get back to the 6-pack 40k lore video.
Link in the description.
Oh my god, it's still going. Oh, Danux! Ayo! Thank you. I hope you're feeling better. I saw that you were very tired.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment
I hope you're feeling
has
better.
ended. The age of darkness has begun.
I hope your audio good.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed
Warhammer miniature.
aliens. And these aliens lived short,
Warhammer miniature. That's actually something I was thinking about, and I'm kind of scared to get into it as well at the same time. Yeah.
painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power, beings with the ability to create life, the old ones of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments, to which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necron tier gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the
I'm getting the doctor to figure out what's going on eventually. More testing. You'll be okay. I believe. Pray for you. The stereotype that Warhammer fans are rich content. Is that a stereotype or is fact?
Materium and the ether, but mostly we just call it the warp. While you and I
The warp, yeah.
as a
That's what I
place
remember.
of horrors and punishment, the warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul. Psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet, the sea is not evil. It simply is. Mostly. There are more malevolent
Simply
beings in those
is.
waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Khorne, the god of combat, murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All
What? And Genshin Impact. What was it? Where was the game from? Oh man. Massively overpriced plastic, but they are so cool. That is true. They are very detailed and very cool. Yeah.
in the end, and Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure. So then they ate all their souls and turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons.
I love Necrons. So cool.
But we can,
if I'm getting a miniature, Necron will be my first one.
Amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's the Void Dragon.
Zarek then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies.
I like the man who shout, "It's Pikachu!" I like that.
To atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the old ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decided to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And so turns out when you have a war that lasts tens,
Hello, Steven!
hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky. You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Corn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either. But you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Corn. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool, has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Corn, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now, entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Eldar.
The Eldar are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, more androgynous looking. I don't know what DeviantArt will tell you. And
Human.
emotional side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the Orcs, but they're busy right now.
Doing their own stuff there.
The Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race, so they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you...
If I remember correctly, they're gonna have a new game coming out soon, right? Something like that. I think so. Have you heard this theory about the Emperor still being alive just because the Orcs believe he is? I thought he's like not dead, not alive, and people has been feeding him like 1,000 souls every single day. There's a bunch. I don't remember the name. No. I don't remember the name. It's like about the. It's like. Literally the one, the cutscene that he shows this one.
Full race. So they were really adept.
Yeah, this one.
The Eldar are
there's a new
particularly
one coming out just like
powerful
that.
race. So they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like
plausible
being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at
so if the orc is believing in something, it actually becomes real?
Handling this without too many negative effects, because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the Nether...
There will be speed freaks. Oh, okay. Deadass have a power of imagination.
It's like a pocket dimension.
So whatever they believe, it happens.
In the Nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just much like in the Nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts. A fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now. The 21st century. That's right, while you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time. The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf.
Orcs can manifest sometimes, depends on the writer, as Bricky will say. It is shenanigans. So you are telling me Shah Aznavour is an orc because he believes. Feral Entries is right. Red equals to fast. 3 times faster too. Now humans. Yeah, what happened to human now? Hello, Janja. Welcome. Bounce on the Emperor's lap. Bounce on it.
Overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here and existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity.
It reminds me.
With the genetic.
It reminds me that one thing that I learned about the machine has spirit thingy. Oh man. So if I believe I am a fast-moving slime, I can be a fast-moving slime. Well, if you're an orc, yes. And if your friends or friends believe that as well, then yes.
Mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. And this was truly the golden age of humanity. And with every golden age, there is a fall. While the new human upstarts in the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and progress,
slime, let's go.
Eldar were engaging in
Debauchery!
debauchery. What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers.
Pray to toast.
You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves. Remember, their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among their peers. Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale.
Is this where they turn a human into a chair? They turn them into furniture.
And just like that, Eldar ended. Slaanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slaanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slaanesh's birth. The new fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slaanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff, but couldn't get food, well, you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh, and because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one, not two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them
I'm ready to be her husband.
A feudal society of honor-bound knights.
After hearing all of this, what happened to the whole universe, and you're like, I'm ready to be her husband.
Gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from
that's gonna stop me
to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus,
machine spirits,
formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore, until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where
might be
the
a
Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind, with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first,
the universe like that might as well die happy.
Smaller versions of himself. 20 of them. 18 of them, I meant. Gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size. A real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade, a crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus, one of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his great crusade,
which fraction do you guys
more
like?
and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters. Fulgrim, the Perfect, with his Emperor's children. And Jagatai Khan, the Swift, the Stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine
Salamander. Hurton. Someone broke the deal. World Eater Oak Salamander.
legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again.
If I remember the name correctly, I like the Sister of Battle.
Reconquer the
The nuns with tang. Hell yeah, I love them.
stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Men, we don't know what we did.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues, all because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most
betrayal
moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus
Dear Lord.
Heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years...
Have anyone of you read those books? I heard that it's not just 50. Like, more than that. It's like more than that.
were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer, really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that, literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon, basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus Heresy saw
No, the Lord though. They do be looking nice, and they are literally like the, what's that called? Yeah, what is that term called again? It's like you see these characters like everywhere on the series. How do you call it? Mascot? Can you call it mascot? There's like 64 books on the hers. Yeah. A lot of this was the Emperor's fault. If I remember correctly, he didn't treat his sons well. Yeah. He did not treat them well. That's what I know. Like a banner. I was answering Pharaon. Sorry. I forgot about a term for that one. Not like mascot, but it's like you just use this one characters that is popular in this series, and then you just put them on the front of every single marketing thingy.
Many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through
There's
the
a
lines,
mascot?
and with
That's how you
time
call it?
running out, made a
Yes.
gambit and opened his ship up to
Mascot,
be boarded.
okay.
The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing
Thank you.
someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable
Like Pikachu to Pokemon. Okay then. Okay then. Because from my understanding of mascot, it's like you like create something like a character just for that thing. But yeah, I think that makes sense too. If there's like this character that is so popular in that series and then you use that as a mascot, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh no!
I'm sure you've seen this image at some
The face
point.
of the IP,
Emperor
yeah.
then said,
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul. Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits.
He
slowly
become
dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive
Become
is
like
feeding
a-
upon the
like a Light
souls of
Tower.
1,000 psychers every single day. This was 10,000
psychers.
years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer
yeah.
40,000.
Yeah.
The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium
I don't think so. Yo.
is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds. The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer
Tyranids.
has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture,
everywhere.
the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence, to be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even have devotion, there is a good chance the threats to the
Imperium, you are
galaxy,
very
chaos,
disposable.
and aliens
That's true.
will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing with bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that lasgun soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Emperor!
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have helped teach you about Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the world, there
I'm
are
scared of the
multiple
books.
that do a great job at showing off how the entire universe operates. For the most part, Warhammer is a
Do you guys
setting,
read
and
this?
often stories are told
scared
in
of
that
the books.
setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer. It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for
the blood
Assassin
god.
Kingmaker is an assassin novel in one of those night
Canary.
worlds. This is Mission Impossible, but Warhammer. Bloodlines
Okay.
is Blade Runner, but Warhammer. And the list goes on and on. If I had to recommend a brand new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's Ghosts, and Infinite and the Divine. They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you acquainted with the world without needing to know too much. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself a Gamer Subs flavor. Enjoy the new
Gundam, but Warhammer. Oh, I know one fraction you will like that looks like Gundam. Everyone's been talking about it. Looks like Gundam. Now that's rich people stuff. I only got a couple Warhammer fantasy books. Okay. Oh, so you're on the Warhammer fantasy side one. Tao, yeah, Tao. It looks like Gundam. Okay, so this one he just released it like 3 months ago, and it is Fraction Re-Explained. Explained, part 1. Let's see if we can watch part 2 because this one is like 2 hours. Goddamn. 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 Yeah, the new ones. Give me a minute. Toilet time. Take a little break. Toilet break. But please evolve already. Please. It's like when you're taking a shit, it doesn't come out. Oh. Wait, what? Oh my god!
Resident Evil, and it will be playable to fans this August at Gamescom, where we'll also
Battery? No. Leveling a ADP adapt.
It's a cookie.
Goodbye, Mid. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mid.
Oh no.
Goodbye.
Oh god.
I couldn't scream. I was screaming.
I get it.
I got lightheaded from screaming.
No. Oh, stereotype.
I like having friends. How many friends do you have?
No, none.
That's great. Would you like to know a secret of mine?
A said I don't have friends, and he says, that's great! Whoa, Stanley. Wow. Bang!
By the eye of Agamotto!
Oh no.
Some uninvited guests.
Oh, sorry guys. Wow. Oh. Hello, Raphael! We have all the times because it is Saturday. Saturday! Yes, let's go. Ready? Ready? Eh. Why is it only my glasses getting bigger? My glasses getting bigger. Too smart. Too smart. Montana going, yeah! More info! Okay. Don't forget to drink water, guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's gonna be 2 hours. We're gonna sit here for 2 hours, and you're not going to be able to stop and go to toilet. We are not stopping here. No toilet. No toilet. RE9 got a date during the review. Yeah, next year February something. I think it's like 28 or something. Bigger focus. Yeah, bigger glasses. Bigger glasses. Okay, 2 hours video, guys. Get ready. Okay.
Our past, there was no war. Our galaxy was for a long
That's
time
right away.
fairly
Chốt đầu ba thế. I can't click this thing. Where did it go? Okay.
In the kind brightness of the far past, there was no war. Our galaxy was, for a long time, fairly empty and quiet. The first known species to appear during this time are known only as the Old Ones, cosmic entities that traveled across the galaxy with ease and seeded life through the stars. Shortly thereafter, a new species began to arise. The Necron tier.
You want louder?
The
Okay.
harshness of a devastatingly powerful star, the short-lived and irradiated Necron tier try to find the secret to eternal life and to be freed from their terrible existence. As they expand through the stars, they find the Old Ones and they plead to them to share the secrets of the universe and grant them purchase from their short and painful existence. The Old Ones respond with a lol and a lamau, and with their immense power, they force them back to
What the fuck? Bro, you always get me.
their homeworld. The Necron tier, filled with rage and hatred, make it their duty to get revenge on the Old Ones. A revenge that would come swiftly as a chance encounter with other gods gave them a solution. These other gods were known as the Catan, a race of highly powerful star-consuming entities. Do not fear, young mortals, for we, the Catan, will provide you with the immortality you seek. Come now, won't you shake a poor sinner's hand? Quoted from Mephetron, the Deceiver. The Necron tier accepted the Catan's offer of immortality, but believe it or not, this turned out to be a ruse. A trick. The Catan crafted gigantic furnaces and began the process
Thank you for letting clearance. Thank you.
of biotransference. The Necron tier willingly walked line by line into the furnace engines made by gods who devour stars and had their souls consumed instead. The short-lived, irradiated, and cancer-inflicted race of the Necron tier ceased to be and the immortal, soulless Necrons remained. Now backed by the immense power of the Catan, the Necrons rally against the Old Ones, and the bitter conflict in the stars at this time is known as the War in Heaven. Despite creating various races and entities to aid them in this battle, the Old Ones are overwhelmed and eradicated down to the last, due to the sheer power of the Catan fat off the souls of the Necron tier, and with an army of unthinkable robotic slaves at their behest. However, the Catan are greedy, spiteful gods, and when there was no foe worth killing, they turn on each other. The Necrons then put their sights towards the Catan and lay waste to them, securing their freedom. The once subservient Necrons now control their former masters. Worn out and weakened by these wars, the Necrons under their leader Zarek, the Silent King, lie dormant with a plan to eventually wake and reclaim control over the galaxy. Over millions of years, empires rise and they fall. The species created by the Old Ones have footholds over the galaxy, but on a pale blue dot in the thick of all this conflict, humanity begins to evolve. And for the most part, the basic path of humanity's evolution remains the same as it is now for almost 15,000 years. Right now, in the 21st century, this is canon. You, right now, Twitch streamer reacting to this video, existed at a point in the Warhammer universe. But with time, humanity...
He knows! He knows! Oh no! He knows! I got caught. Oh no! I don't think he knows! He pointed out like that.
ambition and the power of their technology becomes unmatched, and the golden age of expansion begins. Humanity starts to branch out through the stars with powerful tools used for agriculture, mining, and expansion. Some branches of humanity would eventually settle far away from Earth itself, and around this time, the psychic ability of humans are greatly expanded, and what we begin to know as psychers appear. But despite all the progress, things would begin to collapse. The machines created to aid humanity would turn on them in M23, an event known as the Cybernetic Revolt, and trade would begin to collapse due to the immaterial warp, aka actual hell, beginning to cause ruptures in space and time. These warp stones would separate humanity, and this would be what is known as the Age of Strife. The warp, a sea of souls, storing all thought, emotion, and the souls of those who have passed on, begin fluctuating into something terrible, as far on the horizon, something horrendous was brewing. You see, the warp...
At this very second, everywhere in the universe, some gods are busy murdering each other. Yes. I mean, in this universe, everyone is trying to kill each other. Everyone wants to take over something. They want to be a boss of something. They want to enslave of something. Yes. This is what happened in the world we are in.
Isn't just a random assortment of chaotic energy. It is fairly well organized thanks to those living in the galaxy. The warp itself acts as an afterlife of sorts, and the actions of the innumerable amount of creatures who live in the galaxy have manifested a pantheon of organized entities known as the Forces of Chaos. At their helm are three major entities: Khorne, Nurgle, and...
Oh, is gonna go through all of this again?
Slaanesh was about to be born. The ancient Eldar were one of the first species created by the Old Ones, and due to their extreme and unbridled excess, the birthing of Slaanesh tore a hole in the galaxy and forever split the Eldar into those of the craft world, who sought to bring their species back together, and those of the Drukhari, who wished to continue what caused the birth of Slaanesh in the first place. The birthing of this fourth chaos god settled the warp storms of the Immaterium and ended the Age of Strife, but humanity was still fractured. So one man revealed himself and spearheaded an immense attempt to reunite all the fractured pieces of humanity,
That man was the Emperor of Mankind.
Yeah, I think he's gonna
After reclaiming the
speedrun
newly
this
destroyed
one.
Earth, the Emperor embarked on the Unification Wars.
The hearse. I think he's gonna speedrun this one.
Of the Imperium of Man. However, due to the very long and devastating impact of the Age of Strife, humanity as we know it is not the same. To reconquer Earth, the Emperor would need more than mere men. Great beings, known as the Thunder Warriors, were recruited by the Emperor to reclaim the Earth with ease. But these warriors are a blunt tool and had, overstayed their welcome. He would need something better, and that solution would be known as the Space Marines. Superhuman soldiers that will have the skill and cunning exponentially greater than the mortal man. These new warriors would be commanded by an elite group of his very own sons known as the Primarchs. Unfortunately though, Daddy didn't charge the baby monitor, and his 18 sons would be stolen by the forces of chaos and scattered across the galaxy.
Wait, he was saying 20. What are the... And then suddenly changed to 18. What happened to the two other sons?
This would begin the Great Crusade, a monumental task to take back the stars in the name of humanity and reclaim
Someone got
the
deleted,
lost
yeah.
Primarch sons. However, he would need the fires of industry to make this happen.
Are you sure he said 18, guys? I thought he said 20. 20. 20. Should have bought a pack of durables. We don't speak about the missing ones. Just ignore. I think I heard 20, not 18. Chakra itself eventually.
Happen. Looking to the distant cousins of Mars, the Emperor signed a treaty with the technologically irradiated hellscape of the Red Planet and allowed the cult of the machine god, the Mechanicum, to supply his crusade. While Space Marines were the tip
Mechanicum?
of the spear, their numbers pale to the vast might of the Imperial Army and Navy. The Astra Militarum and their seemingly endless numbers make up the bulk of the fighting force for humanity, supplied by the intelligence and prowess of various agents of the Imperium, such as rogue traders and assassins. Due to the lack of connectivity between the worlds, what a society had become over thousands of years became mysterious and varied. Tools once used for harvesting and agriculture now are being used as machines of war in the form of imperial knights. Some of these fractures of humanity would even be changed further and become unrecognizable to the average human, with differences in size, skin color, appendages, cat ears sometimes. Would go so far to become their own galactic society.
Cat
The
ears
miners of the
sometimes.
galactic core and their immense supercomputers, forming the Leagues of Votan. After an incredible amount of effort and books, the lost sons of the Emperor would be reunited, and the Imperium of Man would be firmly established. This, however, would not last. Be it intentional or accidental, the Emperor would not reveal to his sons the true nature of the galaxy and the terrors of the warp. And this oversight would result in one of the most impactful wars in humanity's history. The favorite son of the Emperor, Horus, would fall to the powers of chaos and turn on his father. This betrayal, this
That one.
this heresy, this Horus heresy, would result in a
Yeah, felinids are a thing, but no models yet. Oh, wait. Are those the one that has cat ears?
split in the Imperium with
Felinids.
devastating consequences. Half of the Emperor's loyal sons would fall to chaos and become
These
the
are some
Chaos
cool
Space
images.
Marines, along with the forces of the Dark Mechanicum and the Chaos Knights. The conflict would
Mechanicum.
result in the absolute obliteration of Horus and the physical death of the Emperor himself. The near-dead body of the Emperor would be placed on the Golden Throne to serve as a
Humanoid.
beacon of humanity and allow for the continued ability to travel the stars, protected
Okay.
by his most loyal, the Adeptus Custodes. The Imperium would be vulnerable during this age of rebirth, and Terra would find itself under siege by one of the most formidable species in the galaxy, the orcs. As time went on and memories of the Emperor's vision began to fade, the Emperor would become less of a head of state and more of a religious figure. And the Imperium would change to reflect this. The leadership on a planet would be at the behest of the High Lords of Terra, and their actions would be courtesy of the incomparable power and authority of the Inquisition. The zealots of the Imperium would intensify and create a brand new era known as the Age of Apostasy. And this ecclesiarchal command of the Imperium would end up with one of the strongest fighting forces of Terra, the Adepta Sororitas. Over time, this age would come to pass, and we would approach the 40th millennium of Warhammer 40,000.
I would want their mechanicum in stop. Really uses a lot of cream. The one right here.
Which, you guessed it, would come with its own form of problems. A primitive species once found during a recon mission would be able to evolve in relative secrecy for 6,000 years, becoming a highly advanced coalition of aliens known as the Tau Empire. And if the threats in the galaxy weren't bad enough, there are threats from outside the galaxy. As a monster has begun to wrap its tendrils around the Milky Way, the Tyranids, monsters that serve a psychic hive mind and present tactics previously unseen in the Milky Way. Be it a direct assault with their monstrous bug-like presence or through the more covert gene stealer cults, the presence of yet another threat in the galaxy is proving to be overwhelming to the Imperium. In the 41st millennium, there is no peace among the stars. At any point, your life can and will be threatened by the Xenos races uncountable, or by the arch enemy of chaos within, or by the decroded terror that is the Imperium itself. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. Forget the power of technology and science, or the safety of promise and understanding. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Again.
A fantastic job once again, Mr. Kurz, the Night Haunter himself. Oh, didn't you love that, my faithful audience? Once again, we have another criminal over the course of 6 hours break every single bone in his body. And with that, once again, our glorious leader has brought the crime rate to 0%. Always brought to you here on the Strawman News. I'm your host, Bricky. Thank you once again for joining us. Our top stories for tonight. The weather forecast appears to be rainy with extra dark, so make sure you pack those extra batteries for your lamp packs. And of course, let's not forget the fantastic gang violence problem we're currently having. Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? Oh right, it's gone. It's looking to be a chilly one tonight as well, so make sure your skin capes are nice and tight.
What's going on? What's going on?
No.
This just in.
Adamantium reserves have tripled? Wait, I'm sorry. Self-harm rates have gone down to 0%.
What?
The Night Haunter smiled? No. This could only mean one thing. It is the Strawman News' great privilege to bring some color back in your life with the brand new 3-part Gamer Subs drop exclusively on this here news network. That's right, your esteemed
He's
host,
plugging
Bricky
this in again.
Is dropping a 3-part Gamer Subs release.
No, it's Edda! What? With the hammer? I seen the Warhammer? And that's just fantasy setting, which is Dark Warhammer. Okay.
40k faction explain. This network. All of this you can receive for 10.
Get your waifu go.
If you go down in the
use code Rine.
Click the link or go
for Rogue Energy Drink.
/Bricky and use code Bricky. Save 10% off with code Bricky. Bring some color back into your life and increase.
He's good at sneaking this in his video.
for
Yeah.
our glorious leader, the to our 40k
Sumimasen.
faction program. 5 years ago, I made every Warhammer 40k faction explained. A passion
That was
project
5
of mine for a
years
universe
ago.
that I enjoyed so much. Its main purpose was to be a drawbridge, the separation between the layman who had only ever seen the big armored blue man situated neatly next to a Wetzel's Pretzels, and then the
For 10 plus 13% discount. That's right, you own them more. Owe them more?
Warhammer
No.
lore nerd. That was just too wide, and there was nothing bridging these two together. Since 2020, Warhammer has exploded in popularity thanks to COVID, quality game updates, and a few excellent video games, and a couple miniseries. The sheer volume of people who have told me they have purchased miniatures due to that video alone makes me feel as if Games Workshop owes me commission. That video is incomplete. I was not a casual fan, but I was also not a hardcore lore junkie. In the 5 years since that video's release, multiple channels have sprouted up, and the drawbridge between casual to the obsessed has never been wider or easier to traverse. Even I, myself, have been a part of Adeptus Ridiculous, a podcast teaching lore in a much simpler and condensed form. Needless to say, I've learned a lot. Warhammer is so much more than just Spaceman shoots big gun. It has also grown substantially from its origins, being a Warhammer fantasy spin-off just in space. Now, it is a black library filled with immensely deep characters, difficult themes,
Don't do free promotion, Bricky. I think he's doing it now too.
and even some tear-jerking stories. It is a backdrop for a million stories over a million worlds, and I did not see its true depth in 2020. But now, I'd like to share what I've learned. We just had a brief summary of the world and each faction that takes place during it. And we did that because to truly understand each faction, we must understand what makes them the way they are. And to do so, we need to begin in chronological order, discussing their origins, their culture, their powers, and of course, what makes them oh so grimdark. So let's begin with the group that started it all and sing praise to the Infinite Empire. As mentioned before, the Necrons
Scare
were
me.
the original form of the Necrons, an alien race far away from us that lived short, painful lives due to the irradiation of their star. Normally, this would manifest as like a sort of cancer, a space cancer of sorts. The Necrons are very much inspired by the ancient Egyptian aesthetic, but unlike the windswept dunes commonly associated with it, the irradiated hellscape the Necrons here endured was far from picturesque. This also translates into their hierarchy. They are a race of nobles and peasants. Most of the peasants would often live for their very short amount of time, only a couple of decades, while the nobles tended to have better care and would live a little bit longer.
You get used
but
to that.
Still far less than the average lifespan of a human, even today in the 21st century. The leader of the Necrons was Zarek, the Silent King.
Zarek.
He was the one who took the deal with the Catan and the Deceiver. Of course, he wasn't aware of the fact that they were known as the Deceiver at the time, but the whole species was blinded by hate after being debased by the Old Ones on their quest to cure their illness. The sheer pain that underwent the Necron race can't be understated, as their fear was manic. The Catan are, of course, gods that eat stars, and when the leader of your species tells you to march into the gigantic green furnaces to ascend to immortality, you march. The scenes from these are long lines of both the peasantry and nobles clutching their loved ones in a frantic act to save their own lives. Many of them already inflicted in the late stages of this space cancer, some of them crawling into the biotransference furnaces trying to outrace death itself without realizing death was the one who made these to begin with. What came out the other side was a soulless husk. And I say that literally. A soul is not an abstract concept like it is in our world, an immaterial version of oneself discussed and debated in religion and philosophy. No, in Warhammer, a soul is a real, tangible item of oneself. And the Catan basically were just like,
to every single person who went in their furnaces. If you were a peasant, you came out a Necron warrior, and you as an individual have ceased to be. You have no mind, you have no soul, and your body, as you know it, is made of an extremely advanced mass of re-knitting living metal known as necrodermis. You cannot think for yourself, for you do not have a brain to think with. All you do now is await protocols from your overlords, which are the nobles who came out of the furnaces with their minds intact, not their souls, mind you, but their minds are very much intact.
They still have
nobles
minds.
Now have command protocols, and they are able to command all of their peasantry and do with them whatever they wish. Zarek, the Silent King, is the most advanced of all the Necrons, a perfect metallic version of himself with incredible power and intelligence. His strength allowed him to lead the undead and the unthinking armies of the Necrons to battle against the Catan when they were at their weakest due to their incessant infighting, and then win back their freedom. But gods cannot die. So in reality, what occurred is the Catan were shattered into thousands of pieces, and each shard of their god was trapped in a stasis vault and mind controlled to do the bidding of the Necrons they once enslaved. The biggest challenge they face now are actually the upstarts of the galaxy. The Eldar and the Orcs were quite prominent, and as you can imagine, a galactic war really takes its toll on the joints, or I guess the servos. It was in their best interest to wait out the galactic rise of the other races and come back at a more opportune time. So they went into stasis via these massive tomb complexes hidden beneath various worlds, biding their time until it was once again their opportunity to rule the galaxy. Zarek, the Silent King, as penance for his failure to his people, exiled himself into the darkness between stars for the next 60 million years with his perfect memory, a constant reminder of the doom he inflicted upon his people. Flash forward to the modern day, and the Necrons are reawakening, but it isn't working as well as it could be. Whether the tomb world is reawakened naturally or by some imperial moron stepping on a green glowing rock, the Necrons have come back to reclaim a galaxy they consider rightly theirs. But 60 million years of hypersleep have taken their toll. Many Necron dynasties awake with systems unrestored and huge swaths of their population's minds completely lost. Necron nobles wake with various mental faculties compromised, sometimes exhibiting traits similar to excessive paranoia, schizophrenia, or even dementia.
Oh,
One
shit.
notable Necron, Nemesaur Zandrek, believes that he is still back on his home planet fighting off separatists and interlopers. See, Oberyn, the separatists come, attempting to outflank me as they did at the 4th Battle of Vindach. How they calculate that daubing themselves green and roaring like savages will produce a different outcome, I cannot fathom. But it is of no account. Ready, my legions. Another glorious victory shall soon be ours. Other individuals, such as the esteemed Imhotep the Stormlord, seek to usurp the newly returned Silent King for rightful ruler over the Necron race, believing his time has come to an end. While
To the bank. That's all you care. I believe it's good.
scientists and archaeologists like Trazen the Infinite and Orikin the Diviner spend thousands of years bickering over artifacts and petty squabbles. Truly, the Necrons are a faction of unthinkable, unimaginable power, held back entirely by their own hubris and 60 million years of stasis. It is a species that does not know of time, only of the ravages brought by it. A pharaoh of a dynasty may just be as frightened to awake completely mad as they are to be assassinated while they sleep. Thousands of years pass. In an instant, there is a play, like an opera play, a retelling of the war in heaven in the Necron culture that takes 40 years to witness. Because why leave? You have no need to eat or vacate your bowels. You are immortal, but you are soulless. Despite the Necrons' incredible technology, their mastery over time, reality itself, despite all of this, they still are missing a soul. And therein lies the biggest struggle. Most Necrons look to conquest the galaxy, kill the interlopers like the humans, Eldar, and orcs that scrape at a fraction of their power. But the end goal for many, including Zarek himself, is to return the souls to their bodies, to undo the horrible fate he cast upon them. This is not the interest of all. Many simply wish to rule their dynasty with an iron fist and kill all they consider unworthy. But to many others, it is to undo the decision that doomed them all. Before they can do that, there is a pest that needs exterminating. That is the fundamental understanding of the Necrons. They are so hyper advanced that their science borders on magic. They play with the fundamental aspects of reality and time. Their mastery of the physical galaxy is the strongest in the universe. Their weapons reduce people to the barest molecules, and they have devices capable of causing stars to supernova. They are unfathomably difficult to kill, as if you do fell one of their number, the living metal reknits itself, and the reanimation protocols allow it to come back alive once again. They're masters of teleportation, and often killing a Necron fully will just have its consciousness translocated back to their tomb world to await reassembly. Normally they utilize large phalanxes of warriors and honorary combats, but some of them have fallen to various mind viruses. The destroyer cults are hell-bent on killing anything and everyone that lives with an overwhelming force. And then there's the flayed ones, Necrons cursed with I have no mouth and I must scream, a panic attack virus, as the last laugh of Landogo, the Flayer Catan. Slowly losing their minds, they strip apart their foes and adorn their bodies with the skin of their enemies, trying to better return to their old feelings of flesh and blood. The Necrons are a degraded version of their mighty empire, and still one of the biggest threats in the galaxy. The only thing keeping them at bay currently is their awakening sickness and their infighting with no care to the timeline. But they are coming, and slowly they plan to rid this galaxy of the vermin that inhabit it. My people shackled the stars and broke mortality when the species you sprang from had barely left the slime pools it spawned in. Our wars burned reality, and the dominion of our kings is without limit. The ground you tread on is not yours, it is ours. The war in heaven was a catastrophic time for the galaxy, and as stated in the above quote, burned reality. Of course,
wonder if there's ones that turned others into fellow Necron. Turn the other, is that you mean like turn the other species into Necron? Is that what you mean?
souls exist in Warhammer, and in the case of the Necron tier, they were consumed by the star gods. This begs the question, however, if you were to pass on, expire, as one might put it, where would your soul go? The answer to this is the warp. In Warhammer, a soul is real. And so is hell, the afterlife, the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterial.
They have to worship the Citan verse. And got tricked. Got consumed. The soul lost to him.
All of these names refer to the dimension parallel to our own, known as the warp. Now, the warp is not like our reality. It does not follow the classic normalcy of time and space. It is defined
Praria Nexus, it's one of the plot points.
And as the Sea of Souls, and it acts like this in a more literal way than you can realize. To imagine the warp is to imagine the sea itself. Hell is real, and you can surf on it. It has a current and can become more dangerous depending on where you go and how bad the weather is. As the Immaterium is a reflection of our reality and of our souls, all thoughts, all emotions, all feeling that goes with a soul is passed on into the warp. If an entire planet decides it's going to engage in a blood-fueled rampage of murder and gore, then the warp around that planet will be affected in a similar manner. It's not something that you can see. It is a parallel, not perpendicular dimension. but it is changing. To expose oneself to the warp for any period of time invites certain death outside of the most iron-willed of individuals, and to stare into it will drive one mad. Much like the open seas, things dwell in the warp. Whether these beings were always there and were just emboldened by the carnage of the galaxy, we can only speculate at. At a time, you could say it was more calm, but a certain faction's galactic war in heaven didn't do it any favors. Now the warp is turbulent, and its realms belong to a pantheon of gods known simply as The forces of chaos are beings that serve directly under their patron deity. There are four current gods of chaos at the moment: Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. Each of them represent various facets of and emotions of sentient species and play a great game against one another for total control over their realms. Interestingly enough, while their disciples have physical forms we can understand, the chaos gods do not have a physical visual that you can perceive in reality. So while there are tons of fantastic fan art, we do not know what they truly look like, though they are conveniently color-coded. Khorne is the god
Color-coded.
murder, carnage, and slaughter. He is the one who is most powered by the wholesale killing of any living thing, for Khorne cares not from where the blood flows. With a sacred number of 8, he is the lord of all things involving killing and blood and gore. The champions are extremely strong as well, with monumental muscles and extremely large weapons. A true analog to Khorne would be his greater demon, the Bloodthirster, an enormous muscle-bound flying devil with an axe so large it splits tanks in a single swing. They move into battle with armor of brass adorned by the skulls of their foes and pools of freshly spilt blood. This may appear to be quite frightening, of course, demonic, one might say, but in the world of chaos, all emotions feed one of these gods in one way or another. If you were to define Khorne with single words, you would use blood, carnage, murder, skulls, but you'd be missing out on important ones like strength, honor, prowess, courage, and skill. Khorne is not just about the wholesale slaughter of people. He is about the honor and power of martial combat. The true strength there is in besting someone in physical strength and skill. Of course, a murderer would be someone who would feed Khorne, but a soldier could feed Khorne. A martial artist or professional fighter could feed Khorne. A warrior, good or bad, feeds Khorne. A diplomat does not. A premier soldier does. A GoFundMe does not. This is what leads many mortals down the path of Khorne, for he will bless those that bring him enough skulls. And in a world this destructive, there are many ways to reap a high tally for him. Prepare the dread claws and unchain the mad ones. Glorious battle awaits us today. For the world below
Only the true warriors. Only those who use violence. No, not violence. The warrior, the Giga Chad. All the Giga Chad. Will fit him.
Refuse to surrender. Let us descend upon them with fury and rage, giving no quarter and sparing only those warriors who fight well enough to earn a place amongst us. As to the rest, their lives and possessions are ours, but their skulls are for Khorne. Normally, if I ever want to explain Khorne, I just kind of show them this clip.
I'd never stab you in the back, Shepard. Warriors like you and me, straight to the face.
Moving on, Tzeentch is the second god, the god of trickery and mischief, the changer of ways, the great conspirator, and the architect of fate. With a sacred number of 9, Tzeentch is truly the god of change in all of its forms, but there is an obvious undercurrent of mischief and cunning. Tzeentch is such a liar that his pants have gone thermonuclear. What the His favorite pastime is asking questions that have no answers while simultaneously making up answers on the spot to a question.
Liars!
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
He is such a conniving little bastard that every emotion of lying, of scheming, of trickery is a direct way to help feed him. An unfaithful partner, a politician, a spy. All these people feed Tzeentch in one way or another, and it doesn't matter if the intentions are good.
I feel bad for that guy. Man, on the lies. That's what lie does to you guys. Don't lie, okay?
Acceptance does not feed Tzeentch. Change does. Tzeentch doesn't care about your facts. He only wants opinion.
Electric boom. Many experiments devoted to unsafe amounts of electricity.
Because
so don't electrocute your balls.
He represents change. He also represents hope, though. Schemes are not always bad, and even the hope to make a better tomorrow is the change he seeks. Because he is the architect of fate and the mastery of sorcery, his presence is purely unknowable. Every depiction of a Tzeentchian demon contains more eyes than are necessary and more mouths than I know what to do with. It is a biblically accurate angel if the angel gaslit you into thinking birds are government drones. But are they? The creatures at his disposal adorn themselves with the knowledge.
Aren't they actually confirmed that some of the birds are actually drawn? You know, not just in America, even in China.
Of sorceries.
They have like bugs as drone, if I remember correctly.
And the unknown, all to provide a mind-crushing experience. Fighting demons from outside of our reality is difficult enough, but fighting demons from unreality, purposely attempting to trick you, is a whole new thing entirely. And that is before we even get started on the gigantic bird of sorcery you're going to need to face. Do not ask which creature screams in the night.
Giant
Question
bird
who
of
waits for
sorcery
you in the shadow. It is my cry that wakes you in the night, and my body that crouches in the shadow. I am Tzeentch, and you are the puppet that dances to my tune. Third of the Chaos Gods is the one of acceptance of rot and pestilence, the grandfather himself, Papa Nurgle. Nurgle is the exact opposite of Tzeentch. Where Tzeentch believes in change and hope for a future, Nurgle believes in stagnation and the end of everything. At one point or another, we will all decay. We will all rot and we will all end. And with a sacred number of 7, every single thing, pestilence, boil, and everything in between, comes under the great shadow and girth of Nurgle himself. For Nurgle, the plight of mortals is his fear and wine. And no matter how solid life might be, everything will decay in the end. In the creation of
don't remind me of that.
There must be
the reality.
an end to that life. And nobody has more creations to end lives than Grandfather Nurgle himself. Every boil, every blemish, every pus-filled wound and disease, every rot and every plague is kept and concocted by Nurgle. This, humorously, keeps Nurgle as a jovial god. He is full of life and laughter, and by creating as many diseases as he possibly can, he shares that joy with mortals. I mean, his envoy is the great unclean one. And look at how happy he is. And there's a lot of him to love. A fear of death in general is feeding Nurgle. All disease makes him stronger, but to pray for salvation for a wounded loved one is to feed Nurgle. The timeless and inevitable fear that one day you will rot and decay is what gives him strength. The Peloton won't feed Nurgle. Licking the doorknob on a public bathroom certainly does.
No!
Should you embrace your grandfather's gifts, you may find an end to your pain. Maybe. All mortal followers of the Chaos Gods found themselves there in one way or another, either through the direct worship or the slow corrupting of their souls. But those that take Nurgle's gifts and embrace the decay of their bodies may end up being chosen among his few as a faithful servant. In doing so, you will be free of the pain caused by Nurgle's ailments, and you may even find yourself just as jovial and happy as he is. Maybe. His enemies shall wither and die. His allies shall wither and die. The universe and all within it shall wither and die. And when the great corruption has settled over the land and permeated the very foundations of reality itself, then shall the Lord of all rise from the rot and ruin, spread his arms wide to reclaim all of his dutiful children. Those were the three major chaos gods for a very long time, emboldened by war and death on a galactic scale. Ever
Happy
present,
rotten
but now
god.
fact on the suffering of a galaxy. One race, for a while, was able to elude the pull of chaos. An advanced race of psychically attuned aliens whose
What is that
master
picture?
over the physical world was so strong that chaos could not glean from them the morsels of power they once had. Or so they couldn't. Not for a long while. 60 million years ago, in an attempt to combat the Necrons in Catan, the old ones made a new species. One with innate power in the warp and the ability to harness it with a mastery that was unseen by so many others. A mastery so powerful, the Necrons retreated to sleep in order to wait it out. It was no longer a galaxy to be ruled by them, but instead begin the age of the The Eldar are a race of pointed-eared humanoids that are all psychically attuned to the warp. If we're being meta
I like
here,
that fashion.
these are space elves, and these elves ruled the galaxy in the time the Necrons went to sleep and humanity began to rise. The Eldar's empire was galaxy-wide and lasted for longer than any other galactic power that we know of. Their understanding of all things was exceptional. With every single one of them being psychers, they had the ability to master the warp and use it to their advantage. See, being a psyker is basically like being a wizard, or I guess in this case it's more of a sorcerer, since you are born with the gifts as opposed to learning them. In order to utilize your psychic abilities, however, you must then reach into the other dimension, into the warp, into hell for that power. So if you were to say, cast Fireball, your mind would reach into the warp, gather the strength to rewrite reality, to then cast Fireball. Now, you might
Maybe
think to
he's gonna
yourself, does that mean
plug
that
it in
if
later.
you're opening up a power to the warp, you may create a lot of risk to yourself because of all the horrible things we just talked about in the warp? Yes! However, in Warhammer 40k, willpower is a real, tangible thing, in the sense that in its own right, it can be weaponized. Being strong of will means being strong of soul, and being strong of soul means you can resist the pull of the warp that much more. A more inexperienced psyker opens up a hole into the warp that is large, and that hole widens to get more power, allowing evil things to get in. A powerful psyker is able to open a very small hole, but with immense force, to get the same amount of power with less risk. The Eldar are master psychers. Every single one of them can call upon the warp, and over millions of years they have perfected it so much so that they can weave structures out of it. In some species in the galaxy, they utilize the warp itself for interstellar travel. The Eldar ain't having any of that noise. How about we utilize a fancy alternative mode of travel that is substantially safer than the old ones created, called the Webway? What about dying? Miss me with that. We no longer age. And if we do, we can just be reborn. Like that. Food, water, materials. We make things out of distilled warp essence itself. We sing unreality into cathedrals to dine in. What truly could the Eldari Empire possibly fear?
Themselves.
The Eldari Empire's biggest fear was themselves.
Yeah, themselves.
So perfect, they wanted for naught. And this led them down dark and dangerous paths. When the base functions of society are no longer a problem for you, you tend to experiment. Perhaps the medium rare steak on your plate,
the human
would be
furniture.
better if it was elf meat. Hey, I'm not saying we
I think
should
it's
make
not them.
cannibalism
The Dark
legal,
Eldar, right?
but like, what's the issue with a little taste? Violent sports is one thing, but how come we don't do sports to the death? I mean, I'm just saying, like, if both participants are willing and clear about it, like, what really is the problem there, you know? Art is in the eye of the viewer, and what is considered art is completely up to the concept of one's own interest. A canvas.
Will you play with my Musume? Oh, later. Later I'll play. Later I will play. I think after this video. Maybe. Yeah.
Adorned with the blood of a man wronged is truly the visual poetry that our society needs. Hedonism. With a slow and consistent hedonism, the Eldar slid backwards into debauchery of the sort I cannot discuss on this YouTube video. Murder on stage, delicacies and drugs distilled from one another, the trade of slaves and concubines, and much worse. The Eldar physiology has their emotions heightened, and they can feel more than a human does.
Oxa in part 2.
So while it can provide lows of pure despair, it can also provide greater highs than you have ever known. And swinging between the two of them was the Eldar game. The Warp took notice of this heavily, and it began to react. On a galactic scale, the debauchery and the hedonism of the Eldar race caused levels of warp storm so pronounced and so volatile that it cut off interstellar travel for all those who used it. Communications between planets was removed, and a nightmarish era of old night began. This continued for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. The Eldar all but removed from the problems being caused as they entered heights of more and more ecstasy. They needed more and more and more. Nothing was ever enough. More murder, more torture. It's art, it's delicacies, it's life. This silence offends Slaanesh.
Huh?
Wait.
That's Wes. That's Wes Slaanesh born.
The god of unspeakable excess is our fourth chaos god, with the sacred number of 6 adorning their title. Slaanesh is a bit of a tricky one, because with our other 3 chaos gods, there was a certain understanding of human emotions and desires. But for Slaanesh, that desire is how they get their power. The words to be used would be decadence, pleasure, perfection, passion, excess, and many others. The pursuit of more, the want to do more, experience more, become more. That's what gives Slaanesh their gifts. A lot of people believe that Slaanesh is something that originates with sex, specifically, and it makes sense why they assume that. The visuals of Slaanesh patrons are all very
desire
and sexual, but they are also intentionally androgynous to appear attractive to a variety of intrigues. However, to think that Slaanesh specifically derives from sex would be mistaken. While it is true that a lot of humanity's actions can relate to getting laid, and Slaanesh is the dark prince of desire, it's more on the lines of feeling an excess of an emotion. It is excessive touch and scent and desire, and a lot of that has to do with sex.
Desire.
It's more than just that. A patron of the arts feeds Slaanesh.
Not the
One that
Funko.
aspires to become the perfect chef or master of their craft, and the sheer pursuit of that alone will feed Slaanesh. Whiplash is Slaanesh's absolute favorite film. Videos where people beat Elden Ring on a dance pad feed Slaanesh.
There are no 2 words in the English language more harmful than good job.
But is there a line?
No, man, no.
This also moves into the concept of feeling. Sensation is a majorly Slaanesh-coded thing. It might start off feeling good, but then you get to play around a little bit, you know? You play with a little bit of pain. Light pain might not be enough, so you might want more. Or inflicting the pain could be your jam. Music can increase to volumes that may hurt your ears, and even then that might not be enough. More. You must have more. Many of the disciples of Slaanesh carry a demonic form in their lithe grace. The keeper of secrets is his chosen envoy, and their movements are a blur of dance and pain with an aura all the more fatal. They dance and sing, but there's always a form of malice behind every action they take. An alluring gaze that will pull you in right before the demonic entity can crush you in that grip. Slaanesh's palace has 6 layers surrounding it, and one of them is the excess of gluttony, where the participant finds themselves in a beautiful banquet full of the most delicious foods imaginable. Tables of delicacies and rivers of wine tempt the user to such a degree that they cannot stop stuffing their face, unaware that the things they are eating are very vaguely familiar meat. If one does not see themselves drowning in the river of wine, they may soon fill their bodies up so much that they cease to function and fall over, becoming part of the banquet themselves. That is one of the 6 layers of Slaaneish's palace. This was the ecstasy that the Eldar civilization indulged in for millennia, and did so at a monumental scale that they created a god from. Find pleasure in every moment, indulge in every whim, let lesser races feel the burden of their crude lives. We are beyond such concerns or worries. Every power is ours to use, every sensation ours to experience. We are truly masters of the galaxy, and all others exist only to satisfy our curiosities. We have earned our position of power. Let us forever taste the fruits of such achievement. Time itself is ours to command. We are eternal.
The gang goons ain't come say that.
With the birth of Slaanesh, the Eldari Empire ceased to be. A catastrophic event so horrible that the warp ripped a hole permanently in our reality. A fissure forever known as the Eye of Terror. With the sudden inhalation of this god's largest breath, the Eldari souls are a currency to be now collected by she who thirsts. Trillions of Eldar died in an instant. Slaanesh gorging on their souls to satisfy his palate. 99.9% of their entire species died, and the rest are doomed to a fate worse than death. For Slaanesh now stakes a claim on each and every Eldar soul, from the
one of Slaanesh's flavored can take over your body if you feel any pride in killing them. Oh, Onegai, you tell me that if I goon with my homies and focus in one thing, I can make it real? Yes.
moment they pass on, an eternity of torment awaits them. The remaining Eldar devote their entire lives to stopping this eventuality, their dying race so devoted to saving themselves from the Dark Prince, and, in doing so, have found very creative ways. In the modern world of Warhammer, the craft world Eldar are the main force of Eldar in the galaxy and represent the elf style that many think of when you think elves in space. Fantasy elves in space, not those elves. We'll get to them. A craft world is a monumentally large starship, the size of a continent, that acts as a form of flotilla. During the highest reaches of hedonism, many Eldar saw the demonic writing on the wall and began to try and seek asylum from their own debauchery. Those Eldar left on monumental craft worlds into the far reaches of the galaxy and saved themselves from Slaanesh's awakening. The main thing the craft world Eldar seek is to temper their minds and bodies in a way that will never allow them to slide back into their old ways. The representation they carry is that of a more feudal Japanese motif. Eldar follow paths as they age, the path of the warrior, the seer, the poet, the diplomat, the bone singer, and so on. These paths are a strict code of conduct to hone the heightened Eldar psychology down a school of thought and action. And if it sounds a hell of a lot like Bushido, well, you're damn right. Here's a medal and a soul stone. Don't Don't lose it or an eternity of torment awaits you. Going through these paths will allow you to take up not just a role in Eldar society, but keep your mind clear from the past worries that plagued them. Every
It's a
Eldar
person
is
with
be
the
a psyker, however, very few of them actually utilize their psychic powers for fear of tempting she who thirsts. A large amount of emphasis is also put on ancestors of the Eldar and learning from them
Nice
before you go down a
picture.
path. This can sometimes be seen by the large variety of jewels adoring the armor of Eldar. Those are called soul stones, the biggest middle finger to Slaanesh they can think of. See, when an Eldar dies, these stones act as a backup, and instead of their souls going to Slaanesh, they are then trapped and stored in this little stone.
Haha, she can't have
They
it.
commune with their ancestors. They mean so very literally, as the spirit and soul of generations before them are stored here. Often, larger structures may contain vast amounts of soul stones, such as the Infinity Circuit in the craft world itself, allowing the souls of the dead to help power their enormous starship. The young do not desire the discipline of the path, but rather their curiosity drives them to try every fruit from the tree. Thus, it is that so many take the path of wandering or the path of damnation in their first years of adulthood. And so, the great tragedy of our kind is played out again and again as the number of our people shrink from generation to generation. These paths, when completed, allow an Eldar to move to the next one, then the next one. However, since this is the grim darkness of the world, many of these paths rely on combat. The Eldar actually had gods at one point. Cain, Vol, Isha, Azaryan, and so on. These gods are aspects of the Eldar
with the
pantheon, and
jaw.
while many were killed in Slaanesh's creation, their teachings live on. For some, the strongest devotion to the Eldar gods is to join the Aspect Warriors and embody the wrath of Cain, their god of war. While guardians of the Eldar craft worlds are more akin to a trained militia, the Aspect Warriors embody a particular variant of the path. Each are led by a Phoenix Lord, a name passed down from generations and embodying the souls of prior Phoenix Lords with each new one. The Howling Banshees, led by Jane Zar, Fugin and his Fire Dragons, Baharoth and his Swooping Hawks, or Malgan Ra and his Dark Reapers.
Damn.
Each Aspect Shrine carries with it the Eldar way of war. Fast, hard-hitting, and incredibly tricksy, for they do not have the numbers to fight in any other way. The Craft World Eldar show how mangled an empire can be by their own actions. They once ruled the galaxy in an honest, non-hyperbolic way, but in the end, they were bested by themselves, and their most prominent remnants are forced to drift aimlessly through the galaxy, trying to save their species from extinction and resist the temptations of she who thirsts. But for some, the party, it's just beginning. Deep within the webway is the city of Kamara. This dark city once existed as a port in the webway that allowed for ease of transport for the Eldar between its various.
The jar is for Isha, the elder goddess of life. Instead of getting eaten by Slaanesh, she got kidnapped by Nurgle as a test subject for his plagues. Ooh, damn.
Its domains.
That's horrible.
The significance of this city meant that it needed to be a bit more of a neutral territory outside of the jurisdiction of general Eldar law, and therefore it was allowed to self-govern. This did not go well. The Dark City became the hideaway for all manner of sin. The Eldar race slipped into debauchery on a galactic scale that it birthed a god, and this was the city you went to when that wasn't enough for you. The convenience of being so deep within the webway was that it exists as a blind spot to the horrors of the warp. So while the rest of the Eldar fled the downfall of their species, Kamara kept partying. When Slaanesh was birthed, they were saved the worst of it, thanks to them being nice and neatly tucked away inside the webway. But only somewhat. The Dark Prince did not have a grip around their soul, but the tiniest pinky finger, and they were still pulling. But due to their excess hedonism, they found a solution to this problem. If they tormented others, They could temporarily rejuvenate their souls and continue to cheat their inevitable death by placating the Prince of Pleasure. And if they kept this up on the regular, they could effectively become immortal. Thus, the Drukhari were born. Unlike the more stoic elves you see in works of fiction, the Drukhari themselves exist as a sort of analog of the more grim and fiendish elves you find in Norse and European mythology. The Drukhari are soul vampires, but the more basic means to feed are hardly enough to keep them going. This desire to feed is known as the thirst, and to quench it effectively, they have mastered the art of biotechnology and dark sciences to really juice themselves up on the crispy soul sprite from the vending machine called the Galaxy. The majority of Drukhari act as pirates and raiders and slavers. They go into our physical reality and drag people back to Kamara to commit atrocities that go beyond any imaginative torture a human can think of. The Drukhari are organized in various groups throughout the Dark City to accomplish this in a more organized and extremely brutal way. The Cabals act as the main warriors of the city, led by their archons. Witches and succubi act as entertainment for Kamara in gladiatorial arenas, and the flesh-crafting homunculus keep the Drukhari alive and discover ever increasingly more painful ways to torment their ever increasingly large supply of slaves they are brought. The Dark Eldar see the other inhabitants of the galaxy
turn the slave into furniture.
Livestock that can be brought to bay or slaughtered at any time. Their fodder, however, is not meat and muscle, but the anguish and despair of the weak. The Dark Eldar do indeed drink blood, but also tears, and most sustaining of all, the raw essence of pain they wring out of their captives. The truth of the matter is that Drukhari sustain themselves on the suffering of others, not just morally, but physically. Kamara is a city rife with backstabbing schemes and murder. It is the worst back alleys of the worst ghettos at the best of times. Nothing is more horrifying to a Drukhari than death, for death will see them in the talons of Slanesh for an eternity of torment. So they do everything they can to stop this. The homunculi covens regrow dead members from pieces of flesh as bargaining chips. The succubi create grisly gladiatorial spectacles that literally rejuvenate the audience members as captives are murdered for sport. To be captured by the Drukhari is one of, if not the worst fate imaginable in the world of Warhammer 40k. In a universe built on war crimes, they are the most debased war crimers of all time. To be tortured and sacrificed in the gladiatorial arenas is a blessing, for you have escaped the fate of being in the flesh smith's control group, or being turned into a living and breathing piece of furniture for an Archon's quarters. In a cruel twist of fate, a newly born Drukhari does not arrive into this world loving torture. It is something they must grow to love. Grow to appreciate the suffering of other beings in order to survive in the world they have been brought into. If they succeed, they become some of the worst monsters in the known galaxy, a dark reflection to the craft worlders and a taste of what Eldar society was like before the fall. If they do not succeed, they must find purchase elsewhere. Often those will join smaller parts of Eldar society like the Exodites or the Harlequins. Exodites believe in a pre-industrial variant of society, often retreating to more lush worlds to ride dinosaurs and live off the land. Prehistoric style that I would normally laugh at if they weren't riding dinosaurs like ballers. The Harlequin dancing troupe are a subsect of Eldar that are more than just a little strange. A carnival of dancing jesters that serve the Eldar laughing god of Kegarak. They arrive never when expected and leave just as quickly. Blurs of light carry their footsteps as they dance their foes into a grave.
Not a lot of Drukhari are born. Most of them are just clones. Clones from any other Drukharis.
Combat is just as much of a joke as it is a play on bloody murder. They travel and aid many other Eldar and sometimes even humanity for reasons we can never understand. Perhaps one day we would have, were they not stripped of their army book and folded into the Eldari Codex. So I suppose it'll have to stay a mystery, or maybe it was one of Kegarak's master plans to get back at she who thirsts and save their species. Who could know? Perhaps it was all a sick and practical joke to Kegorok, and he would just find it very funny to watch me follow the discussion of one human on a tiny blue planet across the galaxy. Oh, speaking of. Before the fall of the Eldar, Earth, or Terra, as it's called, was in one man who looks to put the pieces back together. Where did he come from? We don't know. Some say he was the result of early shamans. Some say he is the final old one who escaped their species' genocide. And those that are smartest know the answer is it doesn't matter. He revealed himself as the Emperor of Mankind, and he was tasked with the most monumental upheaval of humanity possible. The Eldari's warp fluctuations had turned the golden age of humanity into old night.
Yes,
Interstellar
man.
travel cut off? Check. An AI uprising? Check. Brand new psychers popping up and not knowing how to handle their power? Check. Demonic incursions?
Hell yeah.
Check. Thousands of years this occurred, and now the Emperor of Mankind showed himself to put the pieces back together. Unifying Terra under his rule, the Emperor founded the Imperium of Man and ruled.
Showed up and declared himself the Emperor.
He
Yes.
was the supreme leader, and nothing could stand
will be the
against
savior
him.
of
He
the
wished to
mankind.
remove mankind from the yoke of its former failures, and he knew he would be the best leader they could have because he was right. AI banned, religion banned. You did as the Emperor told you, or his Thunder Warriors would put you in your place. That place often being a grave. Now, Terra was
dead.
But humanity needed to reclaim its long-lost brethren scattered across the stars. But to do so, he needed those that could build him a fleet truly meant for the reconquering of the galaxy. And so he turned his attention to the red planet of Mars. Mars and Terra were close allies long before the Unification Wars. Mars was the first world terraformed by humanity and became what would ultimately be the first hive world, an epicenter for industry and technology. The Age of Strife did not treat the Red Planet kindly, however. Mars was cut off from Terra during this time, and the warp storms that ravaged the planet turned it into an absolute nuclear hellscape. Those who were on the surface were turned into your run-of-the-mill mutant if they even survived the bombings they inflicted on themselves, but others were lucky enough to escape beneath the red sands in powerful fallout shelters. These became their generational habitats, but this resulted in extreme reliance on technology and those who could use it. They began to view the technology keeping them alive less as a technological advancement and more of a divine intervention, with those skilled in it as priests. The Martians began to worship the power of the machine, and this resulted in the formation of the Cult Mechanicus, the belief in a holy trinity known as the Three-in-One. The machine god, serving as the spirit who gave rise to all technologies known, the motive force, the deity that gives all life its ability to live, and the Omnissiah, a physical manifestation of the machine god itself. This belief began to manifest in them physically as well. What were once humans began to really mess around with the character creator options, and this tech obsession made them view instances of flesh to be weak and spend their lives removing what makes them human and replacing it with mechanical augments.
Machine!
Robotic limbs, glowing eyes, mechadendrite arms. What was once a
human flesh, weak, replace it with metal, machine.
Slightly human. In addition to this, cloaked over all of their mechanical appendages are robes that reflect the color of their homeworld, the red robes of the Mechanicus. The Cult Mechanicum, now the Adeptus Mechanicus, create a fascinating combination of cultures all birthed into one. Basically, techno-zealot monks. Organic life is the machine god's greatest accomplishment within the scope of the great work. All praise he who is three-in-one. By giving us life within an organic shell, he presents us with the means and opportunity to improve upon physicality. as is his divine plan. He grants us complex weakness so we might learn metallic strength and ascend to his level of machinic perfection. The Emperor's arrival to Mars was
There are whispers. The Emperor will become the 5th Chaos God of Tyranny. Oh. Dina. I just want to be God. Doesn't want to be called as a god, but people still worship him. In sudden weakness of his flesh, it disgusted him. Yes.
Very much
Flesh,
walking in with the pizzas while the room is on fire moment. But to the Mechanicum, they saw his arrival as confirmation of their belief. They took one look at the glowing golden entity that showed up on their doorstep and were like, that's him. That's the guy right there. And they immediately accepted him as the Omnissiah. Obviously, showing up and being called Machine Jesus shortly after wiping out all instances of non-Machine Jesus a little bit beforehand is an instance of capital H heresy. But the Emperor saw the bigger picture. Were they strange with how they rubbed unguents on themselves, burned incense, and prayed to machines for them to work? Sure, but that's a lot of production right there. So the Emperor devised the Treaty of Olympus Mons, a unifying agreement between Terra and Mars, and this union would be permanently etched into the Aquila of the Imperium as the two-headed eagle. One head for Terra, and the other for Mars. The forces of the Emperor would be supplied with all the technology and weapons they needed to reunite the scattered remnants of humanity under one banner, and the Mechanicum of Mars would be able to keep doing what they were doing religiously and scientifically so long as they kept up their tithes. This tithe meant total quality control over all technology in the Imperium. Is it a big spaceship? AdMech take care of that. Tanks? AdMech take care of that. The literal bullets in a gun? You guessed it. But unlike the factories of today, the forge worlds of
Praying for machine to work or just an IT guy know what they... Yeah, it's true.
Mars and
It's
the
actually
Graces
true.
Mechanicum are a bit of a different experience altogether. Instead of a factory on a random given world, the entirety of the planet's surface is dedicated to manufacturing. But that's a little tricky, isn't it? Considering that the usage of silica animus, or AI, is a big no-no, and basically the largest affront to their divine machine god possible. Fortunately, there's a
The rock
really
eating rock, hell yeah.
alternative that they've come up with, and that's called a servitor. Incredible devices that can do anything from manufacturing, maintenance, basic door operation, even just float around like a helpful little drone. It's an extremely easy process too. All you need to do is take a human who is dying or preferably an enemy of the state, most likely that one, and lobotomize them, and then reprogram their brains to do exactly what they tell you. They even got little baby versions of them. Yay! So now you can rest easy knowing that the entirety of the Imperium, because they outlaw AI and learning new tech is heresy,
Mess
is
up humanity
run on
badly.
lobotomized slaves. Whether they deserve it or not is unimportant, and whether they can still keep their consciousness trapped in their own minds is another thing entirely.
Ooh.
Your incompetence is showing.
An excerpt from the Servitor Creation Factories. Naked human beings were standing in a switch-packed line between high fences. The manufactorum produced servitors, but it was more akin to an abattoir than a workshop. Every surface was easily cleanable. Servitors with spray units surgically attached to their backs prowled about, hosing filth from slit drains set into the perfectly smooth, slanted floors. As the line slowly advanced, the people were passed through various scanning devices, most of them mounted in ugly, functional arches that let out a constant series of acceptance chimes. Occasionally, one would let out an angry blare, and the indicator lumens would flash red. The rejected person was then swallowed up by a trapdoor opening beneath their feet. From these pits wafted a hideous stench and the grinding sounds of industrial mincers. One rejected man grabbed onto the lip and hung there, arms and hands bloodied, shouting a stream of defiant profanities. Guards lined the grating either side of him and shocked him until he fell. The adepts wouldn't even waste bullets on these people. The trap door flipped up, and the next terrified person was ushered forward. Violent metal arms snatched them up and spread-eagled them in the air, and a servitor shearer shaved them all over. At another, they were subjected to a high-pressure counter-septic wash whose chemical stink made me choke from 100 feet away. More scanners, more rejects winnowed out. Machines forcibly dressed them in a heavy rubberized garment common to all monotask servitors. These were saggy on them, all one size, until another process force-shrank them to fit their bodies where metal cuffs, sockets, and collars bit into vulnerable flesh. The last few prayers gave way to screams at that point, and even the most stoic shouted in pain. They were ushered over a floor buzzing with power that made them shriek with every footstep. "What's that for?" I asked. "Follicular inhibitor, to stop their hair from growing," he said. Freaking sweet, Lois! As for their scientific pursuit, the Mechanicum believe in the present.
Dear Lord. All for that, just to stop their hair from growing. Damn.
Preservation of knowledge above all, and the quest to expand it. However, as opposed to just innovating and inventing on their own with their vast technological know-how, they believe that it is a form of tech heresy. You see, because of their religious viewpoints on technology itself, they believe that the instruction booklet itself is just as holy as the Lego set it builds, and to innovate on that without the proper written knowledge is to go against the divine word of the machine god itself. All knowledge is already in the universe. You simply need to rediscovering it and attempting to invent something to improve upon divinity is very heretical. Prior to the Age of Strife, humanity was able to populate the stars with devices known as Standard Template Constructs, or STCs. These devices were, as far as we know, supercomputers with the ability to pull up and detail how to create literally anything a startup colony would need. Essentially, they were devices with the entirety of human technological know-how so that you could make a home away from home. The Mechanicum will not make anything without an STC. Quite literally nothing, because this is the knowledge they seek, and that knowledge is divine. One time, scouts of the Imperial Guard found a functioning STC that provided the schematics on a knife that happened to be a bit lighter and a bit sharper than most other knives. These knives were adopted by 30 Space Marine chapters and were one of the most advanced discoveries of the century. This discovery was so significant that they were each awarded a planet for finding this. A planet for a machine that taught them how to make knives. Due to their religious organization, you can probably guess the Mechanicum are organized in a feudal structure with the highest individuals in power being a part of the priesthood. Cream of the crop being the fabricator general of Mars itself, who serves as a high lord of Terra, but also oversees the entirety of the Mechanicum below. Below them are tech priests that oversee the cult for the quest of knowledge and other more straightforward theocracy. Forge worlds tend to operate slightly more independently, what can cause some power struggles within the Mechanicum, because, you know, despite them all being weird robots, they love being given praise. And despite being the manufacturing end of the Imperium, they do actually have their own military.
Yeah, like the
forces.
doggy, like getting praise.
Private army and all their various 1920s Martian-style mechanisms like doom crawlers, Castellan robots.
Innovation is considered super sin. The Mechanicum.
And of course, the Titan Legions, because nothing is cooler than a robot that towers over buildings. Ultimately, their very dogmatic view on technology as a whole has resulted in any innovation becoming absent, thus causing the Imperium to stagnate as a whole. The lack of ambition to create anything new and the wholesale murder of anyone who even tries leads to things becoming derelict. I grow weary of this flesh I was born into, strangely disgusted by its nature. I crave only the cold, clean certainty of steel and silicon, that I might become one with the blessed machine. I do not expect you to understand, you who cling to your flesh as if it were immortal, seeking only to preserve it, to protect it. One day you will see the folly of your ways, and then no doubt you will come begging to my order to preserve you.
Wow.
After the groundwork had been set unification-wise, it was time to start getting things together for the Emperor's great crusade across the stars to bring humanity under
Thank you so much for
one
the following
The Thunder
eyes.
Warriors were a perfect fighting force for unifying Terra and Luna, but the galaxy was a whole different thing. You see, these warriors weren't soldiers in the eyes of the Emperor. They were tools, extremely blunt tools used for the fast conquest of Terra. As the Emperor was concerned, the tools you use at home aren't the same ones you take on a road trip. So the Emperor rid himself of his tools in the exact manner you think.
Coffee machine.
He went forward to crafting a brand new tool. One more.
What is coffee machine?
You take on a road trip. So the Emperor rid himself of his tools in the exact manner you think he did, and he went forward to crafting a brand new tool. One more mobile, more efficient, and ready for his next era of conquest. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay, I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war forge them. They will be of iron will and steely muscle. In great armor shall I clad them, and with the mightiest guns will they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease. No sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and machines so that no foe can best them in battle. They will be my bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my
Space Marines!
And they shall know no fear. The vastness of the Milky Way galaxy meant that the Emperor needed assistance bringing everyone back to the fold. And who better to do this than himself? But since the technology to be in many places at once does not exist anymore, the Emperor decided that it was time to become a dad, the same way Geppetto did, and with far less care. It is not my son, Archon. None of them are. They are warlords, generals, tools bred to serve a purpose, just as legions were bred to serve a purpose. What a dad. The Primarch Project was started to create charismatic and unique leaders in the Imperial military. The diversity of these eventual leaders meant that each one could be specialized for certain circumstances across the galaxy. Depending on the type of conflict, one leader might be better than the other. So instead of forcing one leader to acclimate to a situation directly, it would be better to send a specialized
Like Thunder Warriors, and after he no use of them, they killed them, and then he made a new tool called the Space Marines.
Leader and forced to handle it. In order to do this, the Emperor used his genetic know-how and maybe a little bit of that forbidden stuff to create these genetically perfect gene fathers that had the ability to serve as his analog directly, and also serve as the leaders of the respective Space Marine legions. All 20, all 18, that's right, all 19 of his sons were meant to be
It did it a few times! What is going on with the numbers that keep changing?
directly molded by the Emperor himself, despite their genetic differences. And they go as follows in order: Lionel Johnson, Fulgrim, Percherabo, Jagatai Khan, Lehman Russ, Rogel Dorn, Conrad Kurz, Sanguinius, Ferris Manus, Angron, Robute Gilliman, Mortarion, Magnus the Red, Horus Lupercal, Lorgar Aurelian, Vulcan, Corvus Corax, and Alfarius and Omegon. His sons, finalized and crafted to be the warriors he needed them.
Clearly said 19. He said 20. He said 20 and 18 and now 19. At the beginning of the video, he said 18. Why is it 19 now? What is going on here? Am I tripping, or are you tripping, or the video tripping, or you two were tripping?
To be more complete. But he may have decided to do a bit of dabbling with things he shouldn't have, and paid a price. Before the Primarchs were ready to go, an intervention by the gods of chaos prevented his plan from being completed as intended. Though the sources vary, the ultimate result of the chaos...
Told you? You would correct himself. He made 20. Had to censor 2 of them. Then one of them turns out to be twins.
God intervention was that all of the Emperor's tools were scattered throughout the galaxy at unknown places and times. Each one of his sons ended up in a completely different world, and instead of being able to directly influence their upbringing, these children were instead forced to experience the unique nature of their respective homeworlds. Some had a great time and lived in general luxury. Others, not so much. Despite his closest advisor, Malkador the Sigillite, saying, "All right, Chief, let's try this one again," the Emperor sensed each of his sons were still very much alive. And one of the primary objectives of the Great Crusade shifted to reclaiming each of his sons so they could take command of their specific Space Marine legions and carry out his will. These original Space Marine legions that were created alongside their Primarchs go in order: the Dark Angels, Emperor's Children, Iron Warriors, White Scars, Space Wolves, Imperial Fists, Night Lords, Blood Angels, Iron Hands, World Eaters, Ultramarines, Death Guard, Thousand Sons, Luna Wolves, eventually Sons of Horus, the Word Bearers, Salamanders, Raven Guard, and the Alpha Legion. Space Marines, unlike their gene fathers, the Primarchs, are not made in a vat. There is a process to recruit more members from humanity itself, which seems a bit strange considering how massive a Space Marine is compared to a normal man, but don't forget, the Emperor is really good with genetics. Less good with anesthetic, however. These prospects are recruited across humanity from various reasons and methods, and are generally killed during that process. But sometimes they aren't, and they are able to go through more and more of the actual training to assess certain traits that are important and relevant to being a Space Marine. Most of the time, the common factor is a pure, unrelenting willingness to kill the enemies of the Imperium. After going through psychological screening, the prospect, now called a neophyte, goes under the knife to become a Space Marine. And here is a quick list of all the cool new stuff they get genuinely shoved into their bodies. A secondary heart, an organ that makes your bones grow, an organ that makes your muscles big, an implant that makes your blood stronger, a little organ that turns your white blood cells into super white blood cells, a brain implant that allows you to sleep while being awake, a pre-stomach that allows you to digest literally anything, a spinal implant that allows you to absorb the genetic memories of what you eat, bigger and better lungs that can let you breathe underwater, an implant that gives you stronger eyes, new ears that keep you from being dizzy, a brain implant that lets you go into suspended animation if you're in a bad shape, skin that acts like transition glasses, I almost got it in one take, a brand new kidney, the ability to taste the air and find enemies like a bloodhound, a special coating on your skin that allows you to be protected in space, the ability to spit acid, a gland that allows you to absorb the unique genetic makeup from the gene seed in the first place, and a straight up carapace that allows the Space Marine to interface with their power armor directly. Quite often, these are put inside of you at
Oh, what happened? I accidentally pressed it. Oh no, where was it?
From various reasons and methods, and are generally killed
we are close
during that process. But sometimes they aren't, and they are able to logically, with an already massive physique, generalized indoctrination into the faith.
Sorry. I accidentally clicked on it. Yeah, here.
Which fires explosive generalized enemies like a bloodhound, a special coating, a glass, and a straight up carapace that allows the Space Marine to interface with their power armor directly.
Welcome back, team.
These are put inside of you at dubious levels of mental alertness and dubious levels of anesthetic. After a more generalized indoctrination into the faith of the Imperium and a bit more training and other important manners, they can finally be welcomed as a fully fledged Space Marine.
Hell
Is quite literally a walking tank that is armed to the teeth.
Hey, bro, welcome back.
Weapons
I'm feeling good. Learning a lot of lore here.
Which fires explosive shells the size of soda cans, and a chainsaw, which is
Jason!
The Space Marine is clad in a colorful carapace known as power armor, crafted from extremely heavy and durable silk.
Yeah!
The power armor of a Space Marine protects him from any terrors he may face, be it the void of space itself to an inhospitable atmosphere. This armor, combined almost biologically with an already massive physique, makes the Space Marine an almost unstoppable fighting force. And hell, If the armor doesn't protect them enough, they can always become a walking coffin like the dreadnoughts of the
not the thing.
Is the sheer difference.
Scary.
While a space marine in its own right is an indoctrinated freight train on legs, how they act can be quite different from chapter to chapter. The gene seed of a Primarch is not just helping them become big and strong, but allows them to gain certain traits from their forefathers. Everything from how they think to even slightly adjusting their physical appearance once it's been implanted, the gene seed can be the personality of an entire space marine. Take the salamanders, for example. Salamanders have a predisposition to fire as a whole, and tend to be extremely large due to the size of their Primarch, Vulcan, and his enormous stature. Whereas someone like Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels, share more vampiric features and more angel-like qualities. A gene seed is not just aspects of the Primarchs, but they are also flaws
Gene
too.
seed.
Magnus the Red and his 1,000 Sons underwent something known as the Flesh Change, a horrifying mutation that, while it made them strong psychers, would affect their bodies so terribly that they would mutate away from humanity. Where other factions have inspiration for their culture from our real world, like the feudal Japanese of the Eldar or Egyptian style the Necrons, each space marine chapter themselves carry an inspiration. The White Scars are motorcycle riding Mongolian fighters. The Space Wolves are Norse Vikings. The Dark Angels are Knights of the Round Table, and so on. This moves into their fighting style, and truthfully, there is no end to the characters and options when it comes to the Space Marines. Space Marines are the main symbol you see, and while many of them can be simply indoctrinated warriors who only care about conflict and can be quite boring, then you meet Dante, or Bjorn, or Argel Tal, or Karn, or Lucius, or Erebus. And then you discover the wealth of these characters and tools of war you can have. For 1100 years, I have fought and I have seen the darkness in our galaxy. I have seen the vileness of the alien and the heresy of the mutant. I have witnessed the sin of possession, and I have seen all the evil that the galaxy harbors, and I have slain all whose presence defiles the Emperor. I have seen what you will see. I have fought what you must fight, and I have slain what you must slay. So fear not and be proud, for we are the sons of Sanguinius, the protectors of mankind. We are indeed the angels of death. Despite being the poster children for Warhammer 40k as a whole, the practice of Space Marine is a—
That's the term I was looking for, poster children. Yeah! That was the term I was looking for when I was talking about like the mascot thing. That's the term. The poster child. Yeah! That was the term I was looking for. Okay. Okay. God, I love the design of the Space Marine. Yeah, they do. They are very cool. Brother, the Reds. Brother, no.
A rare sight for the countless trillions of humans across the galaxy. Seeing one of these monstrosities is like seeing something akin to an angel sent by the Emperor himself. These angels of death are the essential fighting force to bring humanity back under the unified banner of the Imperium. Yet ultimately, the Space Marines are individuals torn from their families and conscripted to genetic modification and lifelong service for the dying Imperium. And though they are held in an almost holy light, most believe they are above and beyond the people they are designed to serve. Once designed as the protectors of humanity, they seldom view humanity as something worth saving, to the extent that it is a tiny, minute rarity, though not unheard of, for a Space Marine to put a normal citizen above them in any way. For most Space Marines and even their Primarchs, they are only here to do a job. They are there to kill the enemies of humanity, and I would be remiss if I didn't add at least one more of my favorite quotes to the tail end of this section. "The time for speeches is done," said Rogel Dorn. "The first great test is here. My order to you all is simple, yet heed it well, and exert yourselves to see it done. They are coming. Kill them all." While the Space Marines are the spearhead of the Imperium's Great Crusade and also a major player in its warfare, there is a significant amount of importance that must be taken on their transport. What sci-fi universe would be complete without its navy? When you think of the navy or ships,
and if you want to play Space Marine game,
sleek, something mobile, and something pretty pretty big. For perspective, the longest self-propelled ship in history was the TTC Wise Giant, an oil tanker that was about 458 meters long or over about 1,500 feet. This right here is child's play in the world of 40k ships. A ship that is considered to be an escort vessel in the Imperium is about 3 times the size of a Sea-Wise Giant, and the size of the ships only go up from there. Your most common ships are the cruisers. The light cruiser tends to average at about 2 kilometers long, or just over a mile in length, where the Dictator class cruisers can be over 3 kilometers or 2 miles in length. The largest ships are your battleships, and they are tremendous. We're talking 5-mile long, half a mile high monstrosities that look like gigantic Gothic cathedrals and filled to the brim with weaponry. And not only are they filled with weapons, but they are also jam-packed with crewmen. Battleships tend to, on average, carry a crew between several thousand to several million, and they need every single one of those members because we don't have advanced technology for other things to pilot themselves or control themselves in a meaningful way because there's no AI. A lot of this stuff has to be done manually. Even the reloading of those giant batteries is a form of manual and, of course, generally speaking, gliding through the stars.
That's all you need to know. Everything's for the Emperor.
Let's be honest,
for humanity.
There can't be a science fiction setting without some form of hyperspace travel. This form of travel in 40k is less like going to Plaid in Spaceballs and more like going into Davy Jones' zipper dimension in SpongeBob.
Oh, now what? I suppose you're gonna show me. Oh, gee, that's very nice. Oh, what is this? Some kind of magic act?
This is because it utilizes the immaterial warp to do so. Warp travel is handled by a navigator, which is an abhuman. It's a mutated human, don't worry about it. And they have a gene that gives them a third eye and the ability to help steer the ship through the warp, which, as we know, is hell itself and unreality. Now, this might sound exceptionally dangerous, and that's because it is. Now, the ship does have protection in the form of a Geller field, though. Originally, I assumed the Geller field is what you think it is, a large force field stopping all manner of horrible things, like demons from the warp tearing apart your ship. How wrong I was, though. So, space travel through
what the hell is that movie? That took me away.
Hell is real and you can surf on it. So you allow the current to carry you and the navigator to direct. But how can a current of souls and unreality carry you when it doesn't obey the laws of physics, time, or, again, reality? What a Geller field is not a force field, but a comatose imperial psyker dreaming of reality. It is not a bubble. It is a force of reality being projected by mutant sleeping beauty to counteract the unreality of the warp that you can then surf on. This, of course, is not a foolproof method of travel, and Geller fields can and do collapse fairly regularly. Being subjected to the warp
version of Dune
field is a terrifying prospect. In the best case scenario,
that was Dune. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting.
Your ship will be torn to shreds. But there are countless instances of ships being thrown out of the warp randomly throughout time itself. You leave for a 2-day mission and you come back 90 years in the past. You feel like you're lost in the warp for a century and it's only been 45 minutes. And that is only if the waves of souls don't rip your ship apart or have demons arrive on it to do unspeakable things to the crew. The Imperial Navy is an astronomically powerful force for the Imperium because the sheer volume of ships and guns on those ships create firepower that can sunder planets. This is all juxtaposed with the sheer backwater nature of these ships. While they are manned by crews of zealots, they are also operated with such a backwater tech, it completely confuses the reader. You see the long batteries of portside cannons that the ship has, and remember that AI is heresy in this world and that all the mechanics are utilized by lobotomized slaves. So how do they load these? Well, they have gun gangs, massive gangs of hundreds of people manually loading these cannons. These are genuine gun loader gangs that get into gang wars and squabbles. On the ship's bridge, you may find the captain himself hardwired directly into the ship's chair permanently to control it the best they can.
Damn.
Giant screens of hololith data fill the room and sensors across the ship.
Oh my god, dear lord, this reminds me of Gundam. Was it Thunderbolt? I don't, everything has a Thunderbolt. Oh man. That movie traumatized me.
Is likely to tell you information as a serf running up to you with a scroll of parchment is. You reach to a microphone to shout orders down a hallway as paper readouts tell you information of the enemy, and holy sigils and candlelit incense burners gleam your next move. While the
what the god then? Oh my god, that actually scared me.
of the Imperium in the same sense and format of this video.
That actually scared me. Sorry, it's been a minute since the last bit. No worries. Welcome. Jumi Trauma Max. Indeed, traumatized me. That one. Dear lord.
It is what shepherds around the entirety of its armed forces. Every Space Marine Primarch had a flagship, and every strike cruiser and battle barge has a story to tell. But if there is a single...
I think it's kind of good that he does that because it's like wake you up a bit since it's been like an hour and 30 minutes of this video. Kind of need to like wake you up a bit. Bread and butter so checks out. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Warhammer is what trauma is.
Thing that the Shield of the Navy does the best is to help support and supply the monumental forces of the Imperium. The hammer of the Emperor himself, the uncountable men and women of the... I don't care if these things have adapted to resist our las guns. If we can't kill them with our rifles, then we'll kill them with heavy bolters. And if we can't kill them with heavy weapons, we'll use grenades. And if grenades don't work, then we'll fight them with our swords and our knives and our bare hands. We'll drown them in our blood. That's what it means to be a soldier of the Imperial Guard. Now follow me. Charge! There is no better symbol of the might of the Imperium itself than the Astra Militarum, or as it is commonly known, the Imperial Guard. Though the Space Marines take the glory and stand as the visual representation of the Imperium, their numbers are dramatically thin and specialized in comparison. To reclaim 1,000,000 worlds, you need a countless number of troops willing to fight and die for your cause. The Imperial Guard represents the Imperial truth made manifest. Every year, the worlds of the Imperium pay a tithe in the form of soldiers to fight the good fight of the Emperor, and this number is impossible to pin down. Even saying billions would be a dramatic understatement. The sheer volume of soldiers serves as the fundamental backbone of the Imperium. 99.9% of battles fought by the Imperium are fought by the sundering might of the Imperial Guard. With the knowledge that the Space Marines are essentially sentient tanks, what do the members of the Imperial Guard have? If they're the might of the Emperor himself, are they not suited up in a similar way? No, not really. No fancy suits, no biological enhancements, and basically no expectation to live. Once a regiment of guard are activated, they are sent directly into battle with almost no expectations that they will survive. This is because, despite their training,
there's too many
powerful armor and extremely strong weapons that would crush any army of the
the weapon, yes.
So hopelessly outmatched to the things they will face. Sending a member of the guard is throwing a rock at a nuclear bomb. However, what they lack in advancement, they make up for in sheer numbers, and their overwhelming force can be the difference maker in any deployment they face. Quantity is a quality all its own. They do have
a lot of people.
The next battle and so on. Seldom do members of the Astra Militarum get old or retire, and those that do are truly to be feared. There's an old saying that the average lifespan of a guardsman is about 15 hours from deployment, and considering the sheer number of guardsmen out there in any given battle, that number is probably accurate. When several million of your pool of guardsmen die within the first few hours of combat because the orcs threw a moon at you, it can really screw the numbers. The soldiers of the guard are conscripted and trained on an incredible number of worlds in the Imperial, and these worlds can impact their training and their combat style directly. The most famous visually are the Cadian shock troops. But other notable guard factions include the gas mask clad death corps of Krieg, the Rambo level of Catachan jungle fighters, and the iron wheeled Mordian Iron Guard. This also helps them specialize against individual types of enemies. The Indigan Prefects are a special guard regiment that came from a planet whose planetary governor, the leader of the planet, thought it was fun to collect exotic animals, which
3
then
trillion
crossbreed
homies,
and then
yes.
became the giant freight train-sized monsters destroying the planet. So the Indigan Prefects are specialized for big monsters. Hello, Tyranids. One particularly interesting officer in the Guard is the enforcement officer known as the Commissar, and they are one of the more visually striking members of a regiment. These are specialized Imperial officers and act as morale officers. But instead of singing songs to the troops and providing hot meals, the Commissars are there to make sure that the members of the regiment continue to fight to the bitter end. If a soldier does not meet the standards of the Commissar, the solution is simple. There are trillions of other soldiers out there. We don't really need you. Combat fatigue? Headshot. Concerns about the conflict? Headshot. Fleeing the battlefield? You bet that's a headshot. Considering that these officers tend to be outside of their regiment,
No surrender!
can be mixed. And in fairness, certain commissars like the esteemed Ibram Gaunt or Caiaphas Cain tend to do a bit better with the whole people talking part. Because if, say, you were trying to tell a beefed up Catachan jungle fighter what to do, you might take a mysterious leave of absence inside a carnivorous plant. But no matter what I say, I don't think I can truly convey the sheer might of the Imperial Guard, so I'm gonna get a visual aid. Let's take a look at this image right here, right? This is the cover of the 9th edition Codex for the Astra Militarum, the official cover art. Your eyes may be drawn to the dark and brutal looks of some of the main members on the front and the gigantic orc they are attacking, but zoom out a little bit. There is no floor. There is only people, and behind those people are tanks, and behind those tanks are flying artillery shells. There are 2 enormous transport ships in the sky, and their ramps are down, and on their ramps are more people. The Imperium is described as having 1,000,000 worlds. 1,000,000 worlds. And each one of them gives soldiers to the Imperial Guard for the tithe. On a given battlefield, in a given fight,
Can't see the ground at all. The amount of people.
in the tens of thousands, and you have enough artillery to turn the night sky day. You have walkers and APCs and aircraft and horse cavalry and tanks the size of apartment buildings. You have drop troops and spec ops and rattling snipers and gigantic ogrids that can't count to 4, but they can turn you into 4 pieces, and it just doesn't end. Humanity is a horde army, but instead of a horde of bugs or rampaging orcs, it's a living wall of guns. At the end of the day, though he's been ferried through hell on a ship that's 10,000 years old to some god-forsaken war-torn rock, though he deployed from high orbit with nothing but a grav chute, though he is one of 10 million men and women snatched from his homeworld to fight a war he barely understands, though he has been given a weapon that fires small suns and may annihilate him as he fires because the knowledge of how it functions has been lost, though his company is supported by tractor tanks that run on anything you can burn, though he wages war against the devouring hive mind, ravenous demons and hordes of hyper-advanced aliens with strange technologies and sorceries he never dreamed existed. No one will remember his sacrifice. There will be no records of his deeds, no glorious parades in his honor, and no remembrance of his name. All he will earn is a shallow, unmarked grave on a forgotten world untold light years from home. Yet for all this thankless sacrifice, a guardsman is a man, just like you. He has no millennia-old genetic engineering, no prophetic leader, no miracles of faith. He has his lasgun, his orders, and those beside him. He is the Imperial Guard, and he will hold the line.
Yeah!
The extra-military
Ayo! Ayo, Alpha. As a long-time 40k fan, I'm stressed out and biting my nails that Rine is getting interested in this. It's fun! The ridiculous stories are fun. Ayo, kind of funny hey, Vtuber, and to the Bricky, rabbit hole and jar of collected Vtubers. Man, I did not think the jar would be very full. Yeah, y'all. Gosh damn moment. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I can't say that I will like fully understand every single thing, all the details, but yeah, I kinda get it and it's fun. Yeah. And I'm just inches away from getting into miniature. That's the thing, you know. I kind of want to start with the game. Yeah, I start with the lore and then I want to start with the game before the miniature part. Yes. Avoid hooks. Avoid hooks. I'm inches away. It's I think I'm still dodging the hooks from the miniature hooks. Yes.
Despite fighting for the honor of the Imperium, are their own form of a massive horde army where individuals.
To get some stream. Thank you for lurking.
The majority of the conflicts they are sent to are attrition-based battles that gain virtually no ground, while countless millions die. Yet this makes them the most human. For the Imperial Guard contains normal people who are happy and sad, people who laugh and love.
$2,000 on the little figure.
Are stories, because there is strength in facing the horrors of the universe head-on with nothing but a rifle in your hands and a prayer on your lips. Armed with an innumerable amount of Imperial soldiers and Space Marines, the Navy begins its great crusade into the stars to
go get something. Yeah, I sleep well, Sim. Actually, if you're very tired, gonna stay up. Okay. Thank you.
rescue the stranded Primarchs and reunite them to their legions. But the biggest question needed to be asked was, what would they find? The age of
plastic crack for a reason, so make sure you find the correct faction to invest. Okay. I do really like Necrons. That's the thing. I think Necrons is like my first time seeing the miniature sets of 40k. I think so. And then I just love it since then. But I don't know what is going on with the stories and everything.
strife lasted for thousands of years.
If I actually won one, that would be my first one.
The galaxy, what would they be like? The technological advancements of humanity prior to and during the Dark Age technology was unfathomable. It allowed them to spread through the galaxy with ease and allowed them to settle once inhospitable planets. These branches of humanity were provided with the vast knowledge of human creations and were given gigantic machines to make arduous labor and ease. The spreading of these massive colony ships was known as the Long March, and these ships would be retrofitted into settlements upon arrival to their new homes. Accompanying them were the gigantic pieces of farm equipment that served multiple purposes and the specialized pilots that could maintain them. They were not only able to tend the fields and do labor, but when interstellar communication was cut off, they also did a great job of protecting the colonists against both threats demonic and alien. Because of the significance of these machines, those that could pilot them were powerful enough to be considered leaders, and the upkeep and preservation of the machines and the lineage of those who could pilot them was imperative. These machines, over the thousands of years, would eventually be known as the He must be humble of heart, strong of arm, be savage in war,
Imperial Knight,
and follow deeds of glory. He must keep honor with all, banish cowardice from his doings, and bring his house no shame. He must serve the Emperor and defend the Imperium, thus should a knight rule himself. The Age of Strife caused these colonized worlds to be cut off from the Imperium, and the reversion of these worlds resulted in the reverence for this farm equipment turned feudal, and the leadership that controlled the devices became viewed as a noble hierarchy. During the Age of Strife, exploratory fleets from Mars found plenty of these worlds, and it seemed the majority of them reverted to a similar state. Like King Arthur seeing Merlin himself, these feudal worlds welcomed the tech priests of Mars with open arms. The mutual relationship between the Admech and the nobility was beneficial. The Admech were able to secure more worlds for mining resources and potentially long-lost STC information, and the noble houses were provided with technological know-how and modifications from the Admech themselves. The suits became more and more specialized, and their history as mere pieces of equipment were lost to time. What was once a tractor became a killdozer, and the Imperial Knights were born. Unlike other military aspects in the Imperium, the nobility of the Knight houses remains just that, a nobility-focused feudal hierarchy that swears fealty to either the Mechanicum or to Terra. Like the Knights in our history, once they swear fealty, they can be called to aid their respective allegiance in the heat of battle. The ones that swear fealty to Terra are led by the High Monarch, while the ones with the Mechanicum are led by the Princeps. The ones with Terra might be sent directly to the front line of war, while the ones with the Mechanicum tend to be sent to protect the Forge world. And the heraldry of these houses is what you'd expect from a generic history of knights. Houses pledging allegiances here and there, your run-of-the-mill War of the Roses aesthetic. Except instead of ponies, you have gigantic death machines. These knights can't seem to be piloted by any old person, however. A member of the nobility of any given knight house must go through the ritual of becoming. This ritual involves them sitting on the device used to control the knight, known as the Throne Mechanicum, for a full night. What's wrong with that? I mean, sitting in a chair for a full evening sounds pretty great right about now. So, a pilot cannot drive a knight. They can, but it moves about as effective as Ripley from Aliens 2, big, lifter thing. It is, in a sense, a beast that must be controlled, and a pilot must merge with it. The mind of the noble is connected to the machine and must fight with the mental signatures and personalities of the prior pilots as well. Everything a knight experiences in battle is felt by the pilot themselves, be it the general movement in the battlefield or damage sustained by the machine itself. If a knight's leg is blown off in battle, the pilot could experience a broken bone in the same spot.
Ooh.
The merging to the machine forever changes the mentality of the noble that experiences it. This connection reinforces a strong degree of nobility and honor in the pilot.
It's just like in the Evangelion.
The glory of their house until the bitter end, as their ancestors' minds are linked to the knight. The size of these knights can vary, but generally speaking, they stand in the ballpark of 30 to 50 feet tall and are protected by a thick adamantium armor. Beyond that, they have their own unique ion shield generators that give them added protection, and when it comes to their looks, the most common pattern across
it looks so cool.
And is honestly the one you're probably thinking about right now. But there are also smaller versions like Armigers and bigger ones known as the Dominus. As for a loadout, these guys are essentially a violent Mr. Potato Head. Battle cannons, Gatling cannons, heavy flamers, thermal cannons. Guns! How about a gigantic chainsword or a straight
guns! Weapons!
Spot up top? Screw it. More autocannons, maybe add some missiles. Whatever you can do to make it as over the top as possible, you gotta do it. A squire serves a knight serves a lord serves a baron, and a baron serves a monarch. So who does the monarch serve? He serves every subject, from the rudest serf to the members of the court. Chivalric fealty, when ideally practiced, is not a pyramid, but a circle. Ironically, on the surface, night worlds themselves are one of the least grim dark settings in the galaxy. Reverting to an ancient time with knights and peasants is almost an escapism from the techno hell of the modern Imperium. But this, of course, doesn't make it great for everyone. It sounds fun on paper to play a game of knights, but it's not so fun when you're the peasant of that world. For the knights themselves, the knights give their entire lives to the Throne Mechanicum, and their reality is not their own, as they have to hear the voices of thousands of generations of their ancestors controlling their actions and their lives for as long as they live. It's a strange dichotomy. When it comes to Warhammer, most to all jobs tend to be terrible. However, if there was one that could be considered enjoyable, it would be the pilot of a knight, or a princeps of their larger cousins. While it does contain an egregious amount of hardship to be a knight pilot, you do enjoy a wealth of privilege. A knight pilot is often an asshole who can back it up. The rich noble that, despite his braggadocious behavior, is still very much him, and he will continue to be him. But knights are not the only thing that the Imperium found lost in the stars during their Great Crusade. Due to the circumstances of the Age of Strife, humans were changing and adapting to their new homes they were now isolated on. Some of these humans evolved over thousands of years to adapt to these areas, and they were known as abhumans. Many abhumans found their way into the Imperial Guard or other lesser positions in the Imperium if they were not wiped out immediately for being too different from their human counterparts. But their abilities and appearance vary from planet to planet, and one particular group of abhumans have made quite a name for themselves in the center of the galaxy.
Okay.
The origins of what will be known as the Kin start at some point during the Dark Age technology, where their ancestors left a planet that is very much Terra and went to the galactic core to mine it of its resources. They brought along with them everything that they would need for a long-term stay, most important of which were the incredible AI-based supercomputers. Be it guidance, technical or philosophical, schematics, or the ability to upload the memories of a deceased explorer to gather information from them, these computers became an essential part of their everyday life, especially considering that the galactic core is one of the most inhospitable places in the galaxy. It is an exceptionally star-dense location, full of abnormalities, black holes, and sentient hostile nebula. Whatever that last part means, it is not a safe and easy place to make a living, and this only got worse thanks to the warp storms during the Age of Strife. In order to adapt to this area, these travelers perfected a genetic makeup that made their future clones to be more adept to the area. These future clones would be shorter and more robust than their ancestors, and the need to procreate would be unnecessary because why risk messing up a good employee when you can just make a new one? These would be known as the Squats, and they would all die, except for when they didn't. And now they are known by a different name. Most void-faring races have at least one cautionary tale of foolish explorers vanishing amidst its blazing stellar nurseries and strange anomalies. Yet for the leagues of Voton, the galactic core has been home now for millennia. These squat humanoids would begin to establish themselves in the core, and their goals would be the same as their ancestors. Rock and stone! Actually, kinda, yeah. Whenever one of them would die, they would know that that sucker would need to be uploaded to the machines like their forefathers did. But the original purpose of these machines was lost to time. What was once a technical resource for them turned into a ritual known as joining the ancestors. And the fact that they were clones at this point meant that the same copy of the same individual would be uploaded countlessly. The sheer overuse of these computers and the repeated uploading of redundant data has turned these once powerful supercomputers into your parents' computer after you installed LimeWire on it, and whose 50 Google Chrome tabs definitely contain information they will return to one day. So much corruption that these computers began to develop the makings of a personality of their own. These would be known as the Voton, and the king, this dwarf-like abhuman of humanity, would revere them. The Voton still operate to this day, but the volume of corruption have made anything outside of their very basic functions highly unpredictable. They may not answer a question for centuries at a time, and if they do provide an answer or data, it has become so corrupted and so incongruent that it takes a literal kin wizard to comprehend it. The kin, much like the dwarves of fantasy, exists nowadays as a mercantile species that constantly work to mine and manufacture. However, their capitalistic desires are dangerous. The biggest crimes a kin can face are being lazy, unproductive, and breaking a contract. Stellar conflicts have broken out over hundreds of years due to the breaking of a deal. So if you signed a contract with a kin, you best stick to it. Because of this, the kin have been known to interact with other species in a fairly common manner. This includes humanity, who have met various members of the kin multiple times, but constantly considered them to be all a different species. Famously, the Imperium noted that the kin they referred to as the Squats were their own species and were wiped out by the Tyranids. Little did they know, they were still around. The kin are acutely aware of two things. The first is that the humans of the Imperium are deeply terrified of technology, so the sheer existence of the Voton is a secret as well as the truth. This extends also to the Iron Kin, sentient robots that are treated in the same esteem of flesh and blood kin because kin is kin. The second thing they are aware of is where they're from. They are fairly confident that they are from Terra, and they know that if this secret was to be known by the Imperium that the Imperium might want to take ownership of them and everything they've built. So the more alien they are, the better. Now, this sounds fine and good, right? What could possibly be wrong with these guys besides the hyper late stage space capitalism? Well, we have to go back to their creation. The kin are an entirely clone-based race made from the computers that are exceptionally difficult to recreate. These machines, the Voton, are becoming more and more unpredictable and derelict. If anything were to happen to these machines, it would be a twofold ending of the kin. New kin cannot be reproduced, reducing their numbers, and the existing kin would have no further purpose because the end that awaits them would be non-existent. The horror of the kin civilization is that the entire purpose of their lives is to do the best they can at their duty and upload all they know to the Voton, their ancestor cores, join their ancestors. But doing so is actually the thing that is killing these supercomputers in the first place. The ancestors were dead, but through the first truths, their legacy continued.
Very
And
conflict.
though their eyes had shut long ago, indeed the ancestors were watching, not with a gaze from eons gone, but with the eyes of every living kin. Each generation was the embodiment of the ancestors cast anew by the Voton. The galaxy changed. Stars died, planets were destroyed, and civilizations fell. But as long as the Voton endured, the ancestors still lived. I do want to end this last bit with an enjoyable quote from one Kim. As you may have assumed, the Leagues of Voton are space dwarves with a corporate sci-fi motif, but they are still very much dwarves. They're squat, they're strong as hell, and they hold serious grudges. This time it's just more about your contracts than anything else. And so because of this, they might treat most things about how you would expect a capitalistic dwarf would treat things. You misunderstand, human. I am not here to debate. I am not here to compromise. What you see as yours, I am taking for my kindred. You want to bargain? Torek, unholster our means of negotiation. As the Great Crusade continued, humanity would find their missing Primarchs, reestablish the locations of all of their various worlds, and finally reclaim what the Emperor was always hoping for. But eventually, all the Emperor sought to build would be his undoing. His original attempt to have all of the Primarchs lead his great armies and usher humanity into the better ages would end up crumbling down. And we will learn about how the Imperium backslides and the horror of the
Humans are
modern day
weird.
40K
First time.
in part 2. I will see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Nice. Oh man. Okay, what time is it now? It's already 3 hours. Okay, so part 2. I know there's part 2 that just released 1 month ago. But we will have to stop it here today. There's a lot of information. Even though some of them I kind of know already, but it's good to relearn again. It's good. So yeah. Today will be a little bit a long stream. Because later we're gonna play Umamusume. We will have to switch to another waiting room, which is yes, Umamusume on YouTube. Yeah. Do you guys enjoy the lore? Do you guys enjoy it? It is a lot to consume, I would say. But yes, I understand everything. Yes. My head is aching with such advanced knowledge. Indeed. Brain fry. Yes, there's a lot of info. I can only say that I remember some of it. Yeah. Just stick to your brain into the machine to continue watching. Connect it with the machine. Beep beep boop. Upload the knowledge. Upload the knowledge to my brain. Beep boop. Beep boop. Yo, imagine if we have something like this, like in Matrix, where you just connect a cable to your brain, and then you just upload the knowledge into your brain. Hell yeah. I'm out. Have fun with horse girls. Hell yeah. Thank you, never. Thank you. The Codex Astriders supports this law. Hell yeah. Okay. Okay, so give me a minute to switch to another waiting room, and then I also have to reheat my lunch. Yeah, I am hungry. I'm gonna reheat my lunch, and then we will eat and play Husker at the same time. Let's come over here. Okay, so we will continue this next time. So yeah, I hope it was enjoyable to watch. I think the explanation, the re-explanation seems more clear. I'm not so sure about the legitimacy of the re-explanation of from Bricky. But yeah, I think it's very clear. It's very clear. It's not like speedrunning, like the last one. Let me see. So yeah, we are going to switch to Horse Girl. If you want to stay around for the Horse Girl, feel free to stay here, and then I will redirect you guys to that waiting room. Yeah, thank you for looking. Thank you, Noir. Thank you. I hope you guys rest well. Thank you. Where is your source? Where is your source? Didn't they actually like question about his like source, like, you know, if it's accurate before? Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna redirect you guys to another stream. So yeah, for the Warhammer 40k part, will end here, and then we'll continue for the next one next time. Okay, thank you for watching and lurking. Thank you. All I remember is corruption, human meat, female abs, and female jugs. Slanesh that always wanting to consume the souls. Yummy. Wait, okay, I'll move you guys to another waiting room. Mamushume time. Thank you for watching for the Warhammer one. Thank you. Wait a second. Okay.